The dramatic spread of the novel coronavirus, now called COVID-19, has sparked immense alarm across the globe. As countries like ours grapple to deal with an increase in confirmed cases, it's only natural that fear and panic continue to rise, driven by uncertainty. The first step in preventing this panic is to empower ourselves with factual information about the infection, how it spreads, and what we can do to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our community from this infection. The most common symptoms are fever, dry cough, tiredness, body ache, running nose, sore throat. Some people may actually have very mild or no symptoms at all despite being infected with the disease. The most important warning symptom of a severe illness is breathlessness or difficulty breathing. Other symptoms may include high-grade, persistent fever, a cough that just won't go away, severe tiredness, dehydration, drowsiness, irritability, and these are warning signs that you should get medical attention immediately. Data coming in from China actually tells us that over 80% of infected patients have a mild self-limited illness, which means that it will resolve spontaneously without seeking any medical attention. 1 in 6 people would go on to develop a severe infection requiring medical attention. From what we understand, from data coming in from China again and other outbreak areas, is that it's older people and people with other chronic medical conditions like chronic lung disease, chronic heart disease, diabetics, patients with cancer, smokers, that are at risk for the most severe forms of the infection, including severe pneumonias. As the name suggests, novel coronavirus has infected humans for the first time. So most of us, all of us in fact in the community, have absolutely no immunity to this infection. And data coming in from China and other outbreak associated areas tell us that the virus is extremely efficient in transmitting from person to person, causing a large number of infected people in a relatively short period of time. How is the novel coronavirus transmitted from person to person? The answer is quite simple. Through respiratory droplets, which are expelled when an infected patient coughs, sneezes, or exhales. These droplets land on people in close proximity to the infected person, and when you breathe them in, the infection is transmitted from one person to another. In addition to this, close contact with an infected person, shaking hands, sharing the same spoon, drinking from the same glass, using the same bedding, are all ways of spreading infection. In addition to this, droplets, when an infected person sneezes or coughs, land on surfaces around the infected person, like door handles, stairway railings, surface tabletops. When other people around him touch these frequently touched surfaces, the infection is spread from one to another when you pick it up on your contaminated hands and touch your face, including your nose, mouth, and eyes. At present, although there's a lot of research and development on the way, there is no confirmed antiviral which acts against COVID-19. A lot of other antivirals have been used, but they're not proven to be beneficial. Treatment at this moment remains largely supportive and symptomatic. And by that I mean antipyretics, anti-decongestants for mild illness, and for severe illnesses, oxygen supplementation, fluids, and even mechanical ventilation. Regarding vaccines, again, there's a lot of studies underway, but no specific vaccine that seems to be on the horizon at the moment for COVID-19. Regular, repeated, An effective hand wash with regular soap and clean water is what is recommended as many times a day, and especially after touching contact surfaces in public places. If you don't have access to clean water and soap, you may use an alcohol-based hand rub with at least 60% alcohol when you're on the go and you're traveling. The next point is, let's all be advocates of cough etiquette. What is cough etiquette? We have all been taught to cough and sneeze into our hands to prevent this from spreading to other people. Unfortunately, when you cough and sneeze into your hands, you touch surfaces and contaminate them. You pull on door handles and contaminate them. And this is what is touched by people around you, and the infection spreads. The best way to go about this is to cough into a disposable tissue or sneeze into a disposable tissue and dispose it. After you're done with it, wash your hands with soap and water or an alcohol-based hand rub. If you don't have access to a disposable tissue, cough or sneeze into this aspect of your bent elbow. This aspect of your bent elbow is unlikely to frequently touch surfaces in the community. Some innovative ways to prevent touching frequently touched surfaces in the community include using an elbow to open public doorways, using a pen to press elevator buttons, etc. So these are all things that have been suggested to prevent spreading of the virus in the community. Social distancing, which means keeping a 1 meter distance or a 3 feet distance between people in all public places to prevent transmission of the droplet infection, has been advised. However, in our environment, in crowded cities like Mumbai, it's practically impossible to envisage this on a crowded train or other public transport places. And hence the only recommendation can be that if there is any non-essential need to be in a public place or a local gathering, avoid it as far as possible. By and large, the use of masks has not been advocated for healthy people in public places. The reason for this is that it's not possible to wear a mask continuously, and if it's worn improperly, it can actually give you a false sense of security and hasn't been proven to be beneficial in many ways. Masks are required and should be worn by people who are sick, who are coughing or sneezing, people who are caregivers for sick people in close proximity with them, and healthcare workers caring for the sick. So the current guidance, as we understand it from the Government of India, is to avoid all non-essential travel to countries which are sort of worst affected by the coronavirus, and I believe these are 5. Again, wearing a mask when you are traveling, I would consider it impossible to wear a mask on a long distance flight continuously. You might have to take it off when you're eating or doing other things, and then no one really knows the benefit of it. But once again, definitely, if you are sick, if you have symptoms of a cold and cough, avoid travel at all costs. If you have to, please wear a mask. Most parts of India at present have no evidence of community transmission. And so, if you have not travelled in the past 2 to 4 weeks, have no contact with a sick traveller, then please see your local physician and take rest at home if your symptoms are mild. If you do have a positive history of relevant travel or contact with a sick traveller, please get yourself tested at a government-designated testing centre. And finally, facts not fear is the trending motto for the day. So please continue to empower yourself with factual information, guidance and updates from authorized websites like the Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Centre of Disease Control and the WHO websites.
Hello, welcome to Emmy.
the dramatic spread of the novel coronavirus, now called COVID-19, has sparked immense alarm across the globe. As countries like ours grapple to deal with an increase in confirmed cases, it's only natural that fear and panic continue to rise, driven by uncertainty. The first step in preventing this panic is to empower ourselves with factual information about the infection, how it spreads, and what we can do to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our community from this infection. The most common symptoms are fever, dry cough, tiredness, body ache, running nose, sore throat. Some people may actually have very mild or no symptoms at all despite being infected with the disease. The most important warning symptom of a severe illness is breathlessness or difficulty breathing. Other symptoms may include high-grade persistent fever, a cough that just won't go away, severe tiredness, dehydration, drowsiness, irritability, and these are warning signs that you should get medical attention immediately. Data coming in from China actually tells us that over 80% of infected patients have a mild self-limited illness, which means that it will resolve spontaneously without seeking any medical attention. 1 in 6 people would go on to develop a severe infection requiring medical attention. From what we understand from data coming in from China again and other outbreak areas is that it's older people and people with other chronic medical conditions like chronic lung disease, chronic heart disease, diabetics, patients with cancer, smokers that are at risk for the most severe forms of the infection, including severe pneumonias. As the name suggests, novel coronavirus has infected humans for the first time. So most of us, all of us in fact in the community, have absolutely no immunity to this infection. And data coming in from China and other outbreak associated areas tell us that the virus is extremely efficient in transmitting from person to person, causing a large number of infected people in a relatively short period of time. How is the novel coronavirus transmitted from person to person? The answer is quite simple. Through respiratory droplets, which are expelled when an infected patient coughs, sneezes, or exhales. These droplets land on people in close proximity to the infected person, and when you breathe them in, the infection is transmitted from one person to another. In addition to this, close contact with an infected person, shaking hands, sharing the same spoon, drinking from the same glass, using the same bedding are all ways of spreading infection. In addition to this, droplets when an infected person sneezes or coughs land on surfaces around the infected person like door handles, stairway railings, surface tabletops. When other people around him touch these frequently touched surfaces, the infection is spread from one to another when you pick it up on your contaminated hands and touch your face, including your nose, mouth, and eyes. At present, although there's a lot of research and development on the way, there is no confirmed antiviral which acts against COVID-19. A lot of other antivirals have been used, but they're not proven to be beneficial. Treatment at this moment remains largely supportive and symptomatic. And by that I mean antipyretics, anti-decongestants for mild illness, and for severe illnesses, oxygen supplementation, fluids, and even mechanical ventilation. Regarding vaccines, again, there's a lot of studies underway, but no specific vaccine that seems to be on the horizon at the moment for COVID-19. Regular, repeated, and effective hand wash with regular soap and clean water is what is recommended as many times a day, and especially after touching contact surfaces in public places. If you don't have access to clean water and soap, you may use an alcohol-based hand rub with at least 60% alcohol when you're on the go and you're traveling. The next point is, let's all be advocates of cough etiquette. What is cough etiquette? We have all been taught to cough and sneeze into our hands to prevent this from spreading to other people. Unfortunately, when you cough and sneeze into your hands, you touch surfaces and contaminate them. You pull on door handles and contaminate them. And this is what is touched by people around you, and the infection spreads. The best way to go about this is to cough into a disposable tissue or sneeze into a disposable tissue and dispose it. After you're done with it, wash your hands with soap and water or an alcohol-based hand rub. If you don't have access to a disposable tissue, cough or sneeze into this aspect of your bent elbow. This aspect of your bent elbow is unlikely to frequently touch surfaces in the community. Some innovative ways to prevent touching frequently touched surfaces in the community include using an elbow to open public doorways, using a pen to press elevator buttons, etc. So these are all things that have been suggested to prevent spreading of the virus in the community. Social distancing, which means keeping a 1 meter distance or a 3 feet distance between people in all public places to prevent transmission of the droplet infection, has been advised. However, in our environment, in crowded cities like Mumbai, it's practically impossible to envisage this on a crowded train or other public transport places. And hence the only recommendation can be that if there is any non-essential need to be in a public place or a local gathering, avoid it as far as possible. By and large, the use of masks has not been advocated for healthy people in public places. The reason for this is that it's not possible to wear a mask continuously, and if it's worn improperly, it can actually give you a false sense of security and hasn't been proven to be beneficial in many ways. Masks are required and should be worn by people who are sick, who are coughing or sneezing, people who are caregivers for sick people in close proximity with them, and healthcare workers caring for the sick. So the current guidance, as we understand it from the Government of India, is to avoid all non-essential travel to countries which are sort of worst affected by the coronavirus, and I believe these are 5. Again, wearing a mask when you're traveling, I would consider it impossible to wear a mask on a long distance flight continuously. You might have to take it off when you're eating or doing other things, and then no one really knows the benefit of it. But once again, definitely if you are sick, if you have symptoms of a cold and cough, avoid travel at all costs. If you have to, please wear a mask. Most parts of India at present have no evidence of community transmission. And so, if you have not travelled in the past 2 to 4 weeks, have no contact with a sick traveller, then please see your local physician and take rest at home if your symptoms are mild. If you do have a positive history of relevant travel or contact with a sick traveller, please get yourself tested at a government-designated testing centre. And finally, facts not fear is the trending motto for the day. So please continue to empower yourself with factual information, guidance and updates from authorized websites like the Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Centre of Disease Control and the WHO websites. The dramatic spread of the novel coronavirus, now called COVID-19, has sparked immense alarm across the globe. As countries like ours grapple to deal with an increase in confirmed cases, it's only natural that fear and panic continue to rise, driven by uncertainty. The first step in preventing this panic is to empower ourselves with factual information about the infection, how it spreads, and what we can do to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our community from this infection. The most common symptoms are fever, dry cough, tiredness, body ache, running nose, sore throat. Some people may actually have very mild or no symptoms at all despite being infected with the disease. The most important warning symptom of a severe illness is breathlessness or difficulty breathing. Other symptoms may include high grade, persistent fever, a cough that
Madam, good morning, madam.
Good morning, good morning,
Good morning, madam.
good morning.
Good morning, Ganesh sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Rajan. Good morning, Rajan.
Good morning, Ma.
Morning.
Sophie.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Johnson.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Sophia, ma'am, good morning. All
Ra-
the best.
அனைவருக்கும் காலை வணக்கம் மேடம்.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Dani,
ma'am.
sir, good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam. PT, madam, good morning. Good morning. Yesterday, pardon me.
Meeting, ma'am. Good morning. Sophia, good morning.
Hello, Sophia, madam. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Arvind, good morning.
Rajan, good morning.
Good morning. Rajan, good morning.
Rema, miss, good morning. Sudhanya, admission miss இருக்காங்களா? Pratibha sir, good morning.
Close பண்ணிட்டோம்.
Sophia, ma'am, கேக்குதுங்களா? Sophia, ma'am, கேக்குதா?
அதான் வருது சார். முடிஞ்சுச்சு. Sir, good morning. Good morning, sir. Morning.
Good morning.
Ragashwani miss, good morning. Okay, good morning. Good
Sir,
morning.
good morning, sir. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Madam, good morning, madam. I am Jayasilan, Department of Cooperation,
Thank you. Good morning.
People College. Hello, you, madam. Hello, madam.
Fine, fine.
Okay, madam.
நம்ம ஆண்டவரோட நடக்கிறோம், ஆண்டவருடைய சமூகத்துல காத்திருக்கிறோம், ஆண்டவரை தேடணும், எல்லாம் நம்ம அறிந்து கொள்ளுகிறோம்ல. இதனால என்ன பலன் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா? நம்முடைய தேவைகள் சந்திக்கப்படுவது நமக்கு ஒரு
Mute பண்ணிருங்க எல்லாருமே. Please mute yourself.
அதிகாரம் 41 வசனம்.
There are TV programs coming in.
காத்திருக்கிறவர்களோ ஒரு பலன் அடைந்து கழுகுகளை போல செட்டைகளை அடித்து எழுப்புவார்கள். ஆண்டவத்தை நம்ம காத்திருக்க கழுகு எப்படி செட்டையில் அடித்து எழுப்புமோ ஒரு புது பலன் நமக்குள்ளே உண்டாகும்.
Sir, good morning.
இந்த வயசு வந்த உடனே அது பலவீனப்பட்டு வயதான மாதிரி காணப்படும். அப்பொழுது அது உயரமான இடத்துல போய் அமர்ந்து தன்னுடைய இறகையெல்லாம் உதிர்த்துவன், தன்னுடைய அந்த அலகையெல்லாம் உடைச்சி இதெல்லாம் முற்றிலும் அந்த பழசெல்லாம் போயிடும். நகங்கள் எல்லாம் அடிச்சு உடைச்சி அது பழசாகி போச்சு, வயசாகி போச்சு. அப்புறம் கொஞ்ச நாள் காத்திருக்கும் போது மறுபடியும் புது ரெக்கை உடைக்கும், புதிய நகம் உண்டாகும், புதிய அலகு ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ராங்கா உண்டாகும். முன்னால் இருந்ததை விட அப்படி பலன் அடைஞ்சி அப்படி எழுப்பும் மக்களுக்கு. அந்த மாதிரி நம்ம காத்திருக்கும் போது
மேடம் ஆடியோ வந்து பாருங்க மேடம். மேடம் ஆடியோ கிராஸ் ஆகுது மேம், ப்ளீஸ். ஆடியோ கிராஸ் ஆகுது மேடம்.
Sir, good morning, sir. Ponmudi Raj, sir, good morning.
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning.
Dr. Ramya has also joined.
Yes, sir. He already joined, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, Professor Ramya Kumarat.
Miss, உள்ள இருக்கீங்களா மிஸ்? வாங்க மிஸ் ப்ளீஸ். சாருங்களா வந்துட்டாங்க.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, thank you.
Hello. Yes.
We welcome our principal in charge, Dr. Anbu Selvi. So she is now in the meeting. Miss, shall we start the program? Shall we start the program?
Yes, Sophie.
Okay. We welcome all of you to the webinar session today. Today we have with us two wonderful personalities, Dr. B.S. Ponmudi Raj and Professor Amiya Kumar Rath. Hearty welcome to both of you, sirs. Our hearts are overwhelming with gratitude to the Almighty God who made this webinar a possible one. We stand before you in humble silent prayer within our hearts before we start with this webinar. We realize that without God's blessings, we would not able to succeed with the plans we have for this program. We submit everything into the Creator's hands. Let me now invite our beloved Principal, Dr. Anbu Selvi, to deliver the welcome come presidential address.
Good morning, everybody. Hearty welcome to the eminent resource persons and to the curious intellectuals interested in learning about intellectual curiosity. As the accreditation ambassador of our college, I deem it a privilege to preside over this webinar. Present scenario of higher education demands much from higher educational institutions. Institutions of higher learning are vested with the responsibility of fostering intellectual curiosity among students, a key to promote learning and research, as research has become an integral part of higher education. I am quite happy that this webinar is organized at the right moment when the whole world is made to stand still and the student community are in trauma. It is quite befitting that two stalwarts from NAC, Dr. B.S. Ponmudi Raj and Professor Amiya Kumar Rath, are addressing us today. At this juncture, I thank both of them, kind enough to spare their precious time to enlighten us on how to foster intellectual curiosity. I request you all to make use of this opportunity. Thank you.
You have not unmuted. You have not unmuted. Dr. Sophia, you have not unmuted. You can't hear anything.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. At this juncture, I would like to thank our management for granting us permission to organize this webinar. They are always with us and giving continuous support and encouragement. Our special thanks are due to our Jayaprakash sir, who has been guiding us and in all academic and administrative endeavors. Now, Dr. B.S. Ponmudi Raj is currently the advisor with the NAC. He was taking care of internal quality assurance cells of higher education institutions and the second cycle of assessment and accreditation in NAC. As an assistant professor of statistics, he was teaching in Christ College, Bangalore and Laila College, Chennai. He has over 28 years of teaching and educational administrative experience. His special interests are training of assessors for quality assurance and quality literacy. He has published papers in journals and also articles in books. He also presented papers in international and national conferences and seminars. He had organized national level assessors training programs. He has been associated with an international research project. Dr. Ponmudi Raj has been a resource person for many seminars and conferences and an invited speaker for many academic activities, both at national and international fora. He has published reports on higher education on specific areas. He has visited about 350 colleges and universities, that is higher education institutions in India for academic purposes. He is also a trained assessor for Confederation of Indian Industry Export-Import Bank of India Business Existence Model, based on European Foundation for Quality Management, and a Tata Educational Excellence Model based on Malcolm Baldrige Educational Excellence Model for School Assessment and Accreditation. He has assessed different schools in Jamshedpur and Jorgan on behalf of TEEM, and in Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu on behalf of Bharathasan University for awards and accreditation purposes. He has visited United Kingdom, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Thailand, Australia, Cambodia, Belgium, and Nepal, and other countries. Had been a visiting faculty to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Institute of Textile Management and Autonomous Institute under the Ministry of Textiles, Government of India. We are indeed very glad to have you as a resource person of our today's webinar. Next to him, I want to introduce our Professor Amiya Kumar Rath. He is presently working as an advisor with NAC Assessment Accreditation Council, Bangalore. He is an educationalist, author, and researcher. He obtained his BE degree in computer from Marathwada University, Maharashtra, and did his MBA in systems management from Shivaji University. He got his MTech and PhD.
அப்படியா வாங்க மேல வாங்க.
Dr. Sophia, we can't hear you.
Unmute you, ma'am.
Kindly,
Sophia, ma'am,
kindly unmute. Kindly unmute. We can't hear. Organizers kindly request the audience to all mute, and people are start presenting. The host has muted everybody because in between somebody was. Somebody can call Professor Porchelvi. We are not audible. Kindly unmute. Kindly unmute.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, please.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir. And he has published.
Tell the others to.
Yes.
Tell the others lot of disturbance. Ananda, Anbu Selvi, Sundaram to all to mute.
So I request the participants to mute yourself, please. Please check you are in mute. Please check yourself. So the Bala computers has to remove such people. So please attentive. Okay. Professor has published books by reputed publishers. He has contributed over 150 research level papers to many national and international journals and conferences. He is a professor with the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Veer Surendra Sai University of Technology, Barla, India, and deputation. And on deputation, he is serving as NAC advisor. His area of research includes embedded system, ad hoc network, sensor network, power minimization, bike. His research area includes embedded system, ad hoc network, sensor network, power minimization, biclustering, evolutionary computation, and data mining. He has completed 6 PhD work, and 6 people are undergoing research under his guidance. He visited many countries for various seminars, workshops, conferences. He is a life member Information Technology Society. He has received 4 different awards, namely International Education Excellence Award by Global Achievers Summit at Bangkok, Thailand, Best Educationalist Award for his outstanding achievements in the field of education by International Institute of Education and Management, New Delhi, Rashtriya Vidya Gaurav Gold Medal Award from Indian Solitary Council, New Delhi, for his outstanding achievements in the field of education. Best Educationalist Award from Shivani Music Cultural Award for his academic contributions. We are very proud to have you as our resource person, sir. Now, let me hand over the session to the resource persons. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Dear participants, may I kindly request on behalf of the organizers, everybody to mute video. If you want, you can keep it on, because depending on your bandwidth. But audio, please be mute. The host and admin, kindly take care and mute everybody in case if somebody comes and people just log in and move off, and kindly take care of that. We do understand this type of technological interventions and problems. All our senior colleagues and our junior colleagues, as well as people, should understand technology well. And we are on an online virtual mode. We have to learn. Nothing wrong in learning. And with every time, whenever you are participating, please check whether your audio is muted or not. If at all you wanted to talk to other people, please mute yourself. It's a humble request on behalf of the organizers. Let me start, Professor Anbuchelvi, and with the management of ADM College for Women, Nagapattinam, autonomous institution, third cycle accredited, and for all the Paramarsh scheme, under the Paramarsh scheme, helping the mentee colleges. The 5 colleges adopted, and they are mentoring. Thank you all the participants for participating in the live here as well as through YouTube. And dear participants, I must tell you, we have already taken almost 14-15 minutes for introduction and inauguration. Anyhow, we wanted to be on business. We hardly have 10:30 to 12:30, 2 hours, and we will try to take this 10 minutes a little bit here and there. Now, I wanted to tell you, people talk about any of the webinars. Mostly people say it is related to NAC, or anything we talk, it is related to NAC. Anything they put under 7 criteria. Second is, people always tell us, sir, any criteria you take up and we can fix the, the audio, you can fix the theme and sub-themes. But I must tell you, by and large, mentee colleges, though the topic is about intellectual curiosity, whether it is LKG, BSc, BCom, or 8th standard, 5th standard student, in a classroom situation of 45 minutes of 60 days trimester or 90 days semester or 190 days annual pattern of teaching, how do you get the attention? First point. Second is, how do you get the mindset for the child to learn? Third is, how do you ensure that the child is learned? So everything is one form or other. It is one of the metrics of measurement in our. Am I audible, Professor Anbuchelvi, Principal Madam? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, audible, sir. Audible to all of you, all of us, sir. No problem.
Thank you very much. So this is where we talk about intellectual curiosity. Very important. When you talk about intellectual curiosity, immediately people talk only about research. People talk only about research. I normally give an example of a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. We don't say b square plus ab, a square plus 2ab, or we don't say 2ab plus b square plus a square. Second order degree or first order degree. But people ask us, what is innovation? Why can't we say 2ab plus b square plus a square? A plus b whole square or b plus b a whole square? So when we talk about innovation, when we talk about research, people clearly understand intellectual curiosity. But very important in my presentation, I have two slides about intellectual curiosity and memory and residue of memory. I have 2 slides, and even about Ben Johnson's quote about intellectual curiosity for a learner. Very important. I am leaving research. I'm talking about a classroom situation. Professor Nandakumar, kindly do not present. Please do not do presentation, presenting screen. Thank you. Thank you. Organizers, please ensure that the participants don't do this. Thank you. Coming back to intellectual curiosity, this learning level is very important. And moreover, when you talk about teaching skill set, very important. We teach Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. We talk about English literature. We talk about thinking about the sky. We talk about aerospace engineering. We talk about even the aeronautical engineering, aerospace engineering. A simple how you connect with English literature with science. This is how intellectual curiosity comes into picture. Whether a matrix multiplication or sorting or any of the sciences or political science for that matter, or a political theory or a Marxian theory you're talking about, how do you explain in a classroom situation? Over to my friend Professor Amiya Kumar Rath, who will be talking more about intellectual curiosity, learning and research, and teaching skill sets. Skills of a teacher is very important. UGC Paramarsh scheme, Pandit Deen Dayal with PMM scheme, so many schemes of the HRDCs of MHRD and Government of India has come only to make the teacher to ensure the skill set. There is a separate, I urge the people to go through NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation. There's a beautiful website. Government of India has defined what is a skill. Talking to phone, is it a skill? How to eat using fork and spoon, is it a skill? We use everything called a skill and competencies. There is a NSDF, National Skill Development Fund. Government of India is funding for small projects. So my friend will be clearly explaining categorically. Nonetheless, I will try to put 1 or 2 slides. Since the NT colleges are there, you should not feel, sir, the topic is more related to very high level intellectual curiosity. We wanted to apply to NAC and get some grade of accreditation. So kindly help us, sir. You shouldn't feel like that. That is why my introduction is about, please go through the webinar, all webinars. Every topic is the learning. You can fit it in any of the matrices or any for documentation and DVV, or how to present it without fudging data truthfully, facts presenting, or IQAC or AQAR. You will learn very beautifully. And this program outcomes, program specific outcomes, course outcomes, and learning and teaching skill set, everything it covers. Over to Professor Amiya Kumar Rath. Professor Amiya.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ponmudi Raj. Thank you very much.
Padma Velu, please don't do sharing.
Is it visible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible. Okay. Audio is clear. Video is clear.
Okay, thank you. So I have, my presentation would be like this. I will talk about legacy of higher education in Bharat, traditional teaching and modern concept, teaching learning, why there is a need of change. I will talk about outcome-based education, Bloom's taxonomy, innovative teaching techniques, the research on intelligence. People have done a lot of research on intelligence because as a teachers, we need to understand the intelligence profile of the students. So the research I will discuss on intelligence, then intelligence on education, that is theory of multiple intelligence we'll discuss. Then about research components, the research expectations from NAC. Then finally I will discuss, if time permits, I will discuss on NAC assessment and accreditation process for affiliated and constituent colleges. Say this is, suppose we will try to think about ourselves too much to do in life, but very less time. I want to explain so many things, but there is no time at all. Within 1 hour, I'll try to complete. Your results don't meet your expectations. Don't feel in control of your life. Stretching seems to be the order of the day. Everyone is demanding more from you. Person is overtaken by deadlines. Feel consumed by crisis. Succeeding in one area of life, but failing in others. When you don't feel excited. If you have if you have sufficient time and sufficient resources, unlimited time and unlimited resources, what would you want to do? Recognition, peace of mind, good health, security, wealth, happiness, travel, spiritual matters, giving time to family members, friendships, free time, knowledge, and close relationship with people whom you like. So if you look at the higher education in Bharat, when it has been started, we'll talk about pre-independence period, then after independence, post-independence we'll discuss, and when the NAC is established, we'll talk about that. If you look at it, in ancient universities, we have 8 ancient universities in Bharat. Taxila, Nalanda, Bikramshila, Pushpagiri, Odantapuri, Jagadala, Somapura, and Vallabhi. Nalanda was before 1280. It was established in Bihar. It was devoted for Buddhist studies and trained students in fine arts, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, politics, and art of war. More than 10,000 students were there in that universities and about 2,000 professors. People from different part of the country world, they used to come and learn there. People from Sri Lanka, Korea, Japan, China, Tibet, Indonesia, Persia, and Turkey. Similarly, Pushpagiri, it was established in 3rd century AD in Odisha. Then we have Taxila. Taxila is famous because of Chanakya, the famous treatise Arthashastra. Then Vikramshila. Then we had, if you understand truly, we lost true wealth of knowledge due to many invasions on Bharat. From birthplace of Veda to striving to be just literate. Status of education during post-independence period. In 1950, the government of India appointed the Planning Commission to prepare blueprint for the development of different aspects of life, including education. The main goal of these plans were to achieve university elementary education and to eradicate illiteracy. Similarly, giving importance to establish vocational training programs, skill training program, technical educations, environmental educations, morality, and relationship between school and work, and to provide facilities for high quality education in every district of the country. Since then, many efforts are being done to improve quality of education, but very less was achieved for high standardization of higher education for its quality and compatibility to meet societal needs as well as global challenges. So to address the issues of deterioration and quality of education, the National Policy of Education 1986 and the Program of Action 1992, NAC was established in the year 1994 as an independent national accreditation body with a vision to make quality the defining element of higher education in India through a combination of self and external evaluation, promotion and sustenance initiatives. Our vision is to arrange for periodic assessment and accreditation of higher education institutions, to stimulate the academic environment for promotion of quality of teaching, learning and research, encourage self-evaluation, accountability, autonomy and innovations in higher education. Quality related research studies consultancy and training programs, and finally, to collaborate with other stakeholders of higher education for quality evaluation, promotion, and sustenance. Our value framework guiding element for assessment and accreditation is contributing to national development, fostering global competencies among students, inculcating a value system among students, promoting the use of technology, and quest for excellence. So we have 7 different criteria. Then each criteria is divided into different key indicators. 34 key indicators for the universities. And again, the key indicators into metrics. We have 115 metrics. Some of the metrics are qualitative metrics and some of the metrics are quantitative metrics. Similarly, for affiliated and PG and UG colleges, different numbers are different for qualitative and quantitative metrics. Let us try to understand what are those 7 different criteria. We have curricular aspects, teaching, learning and evaluation, research, innovations and extensions, infrastructure and learning resources, student support and progression, governance, leadership and management, institutional values and best practices. So if you look at all those 7 criteria, they all are important. If you talk about quality educations, if you talk about quality educations in any higher education institutions, all those criteria are very important. Thinking is progress, because this, I am quoting this particular slide, thinking the theme of this particular webinars. Thinking is progress, non-thinking is stagnation of individuals, not only stagnation of individual, stagnation of organization and stagnation of the country. Thinking leads to action. Knowledge without action is useless and irrelevant. Knowledge with action converts adversity into prosperity. The best brains of the nation may be found on the last benches of the classroom, said by our beloved Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. In 21st century, this is the age of information. This is the age of informations and communications. Knowledge economy is important, and problem solving and critical thinking of students are very important. Smart glass has been developed by Jio, where you can have video conferencing, 2D conferencing, 3D conferencing, and it can store even 25 applications, 25 apps it can store. Last week only it has launched by Jio, which we have augmented reality and virtual reality. Smart watch you can see. So, but analysis of traditional educations, in the pre-technology education, you will find that for every communications there is a sender and a receiver. Here in the teaching learning, a sender is a teacher and a receiver is the student. What are the messages that is to be transmitted? The educational material is the information that is to be transmitted from the teachers to the students, from the sender to the receiver. What is the communication medium? Communication or delivery medium we call. Delivery medium is chalk and talk, or sometimes some of the faculty members, they can use projectors for transferring the messages from the teachers to the students. So what is the problem? See, now these students are digital learning students. They learn from digital devices. They learn from Google. They learn from Facebook. They learn from Twitter. They learn from WhatsApp. So they fade their concentrations. Concentration fades off after 50 to 20 minutes. Only there is a chalk and talk of explaining to the students or sending the messages from the source to the destination. Teacher delivers the content. It is a kind of passive learning. It's a kind of conventional lecture approach in classroom, which has got a limited effectiveness in both teaching and learning. So what is important is, if you see the typical classrooms, the situation is like this. Students just act as a listeners writing some notes, and students are maintaining silence. The most common words used by the faculty member is please maintain silence. Is this how we feel after a semester of teaching? Look at the first diagram. I have taught spot to whistle. Then student says, I can't hear him whistling. Then next is, I said, I had taught him to whistle, not that he had learned to whistle. I had taught him to whistle, not that he had learned to whistle. See the kind of teaching and learning what we are finding here. I mean, the point is the key challenges are global knowledge-based economies, population, broaden access, increased flexibility, wider student engagement, motivation for staff and students, cutting cost, remaining innovations and relevant, redesigning of traditional courses, quality pedagogical approaches, research-led teaching, assessment-based learning. All these are all challenges for each and every faculty members as well as the organizations. So how to convert these challenges into opportunities, how to convert these challenges into opportunities are very important. Current trends are different expectations, motivations, skills and learning models. Growing demands, corporate educational providers. Lifelong learning is important for the students. Role of universities for socially and economically. Globalizations, this is a globalization world. Our students from India will go and compete with somewhere in US or somewhere in Canada. Qualification frameworks, curricular frameworks, the nature of universities, all those components, these are the current needs for the faculty members, for the organization to look into it. Teachers are the architects of our nation, for it is who are preparing the students, learners for the world of their future. So Jeremy Brunner, towards a theory of instruction, he says, we teach a subject not to produce little living librarians on that subject. We teach a subject not to produce little living librarians on that subject, but rather to get students to think for himself, to consider matters, to take part in the process of knowledge getting. Knowing is a process, not a product. Okay, next is connect new ideas to what they already know. Student possess some knowledge, but connect new ideas of the knowledge what they already possess is important. Apply the new knowledge in ways that are different from the situation in which it was learned. Core teaching skills that are extensively used in routine teaching by all teachers are known as core teaching skills. Experts have listed 8 core teaching skills which are important. Skill of introducing a lesson, skill of explaining, skill of illustrating with examples, skill of questioning to the students, skill of using blackboard, skill of reinforcement, skill of encouraging the students, skill of stimulus variation, skill of probing questions. All those skills are very important. There should be a shift from teaching to learning, shift focus from intentions to results, isolation to collaborations. We need collaborative learning. There should not be an individualistic learning. There should not be a isolation learning. So what is important is knowledge of the subject matter is important, interacting with students is important, managing the course and designing the learning experience. Learning by doing, learning through experience, learning through observation, learning through aiding and guiding methods. There are 5 aspects of teaching styles. So whenever you are giving information to the students, what type of information is emphasized? Whether you give concrete information or abstract information. Concrete informations like facts and figures, data, observable phenomena. Abstract like principles, concepts, theories, and mathematical models. What is the type of your presentation we are focusing on? whether you're focusing on visual presentation like pictures, diagrams, films, demonstrations, or verbal presentation like spoken words or written words. How is the presentation organized? Whether it's a deductive or inductive. Deductive like start with fundamentals and proceeds with the applications. Inductive like start with the applications and proceeds with the fundamentals. How the presentation is organized. What is the mode of student participation is facilitated. Whether students are participating like your active learning, talking, moving, reflecting, solving examples, solving problems, or there is a kind of passive learning. Student will act as a mere spectator, but faculty will go on teaching and students are maintaining silence. Is this the mode of communicating the information from the teachers to the students? What is the type of perspective is provided on the information presented? Whether it is sequential, step-by-step progression, or global, that's content and relevance are provided. Skill of reinforcement, you can see there's a verbal skills and non-verbal skills. Verbal skill is praising the words. Okay, you are very good. You've done very nicely. Repeating the learner's answer, rephrasing the answers. These are all verbal. Non-verbal is accepting, approving gestures. Attentive eye contact, nodding the head, moving towards the learners, hand signals of encouragement, writing the response on the board. These are the kind of encouragements a teachers can give it to the students. Learning is, there are multiple intelligence tells us to use all the senses to stimulate our brain and make the connections. This makes for deeper understanding and stronger recall. Active learning makes the learner drive the process, the teacher being more of a guide, more of a coach, and more of a facilitator. Teachers should act like a guide to the students, coach to the students, and the facilitator. Inputs and outputs, we have a black box inside. What is there inside the black box? That is learning. Learning should happen inside the black box, so the information will go from the teachers to the students. So I will tell you what is important in these days is, let me tell you, if you use watch in the left hand side, please change it to the right hand side, and somebody, if you are using in the right hand side, please change it to the left hand side. If you do that, are you feeling comfortable? Is it comfortable to use? Because you are habituated, you have practiced for a long time using the watch in the left hand side. If you are putting it in the right hand side, are you feeling comfortable? No, because doing something new can be embarrassing. Now today I am giving a presentation here. I taught 35 years, I taught with a lot of students in the class, but now nobody is there in the class. I am just speaking in front of my laptop. Doing something new can be embarrassing. It is true for all of you. All of you are listening to my lectures sitting at home. Sitting at home, you are listening to my lectures. Some of them are doing their own work, putting it the speaker on and doing their own work and listening to the lectures. It's a kind of parallel processing. They do their cooking also, but listening to the lectures. Is it feeling comfortable? Is it comfortable for all the participants? Is it comfortable for the speakers? Is it comfortable for the learners? Change involves always unlearning. I'm sure now everybody in this world, they are habituated with online teaching to the students. Online conducting meetings, virtual meetings, conducting virtual meetings, because this change involves a lot of relearning, and change is possible. Changes can be incorporated through acceptance and little practice. If you practice for a long time teaching online, definitely you will be very much acquainted with online teaching. That's what I said. Change involves unlearning and then relearning. Okay, see, yeah. We will talk about change in the paradigm, preparing the ground for new learning approach, issues and challenges in moving to new paradigm. To teach is to make someone to learn. whether you want teaching in the classroom or learning in the classroom, the answer is we want learning. If we ask you whether you want passive learning or active learning, the answer is we want active learning. If I ask you whether you want active learning or interactive learning, the answer is we want interactive learning. Interactive learning in the classroom. So people talk about outcome-based educations. In our assessment and accreditation, we have metric. We have metric called learning outcomes. The outcome-based education. So what is that outcome-based education? So outcome-based education always focuses on what is important for the students. Our input to any educational institutions are students. We will make a students from the raw materials to the finished products. When they join your institute, maybe you are running a 3 years program or 4 years program. The input is students, the input is your raw materials. We will process the students and make the students employable. So in the raw materials, we'll make them as a finished products. So what is important for the students, we should know what is important for the students. Then accordingly, we'll have to organize our curriculum. Accordingly, we'll have to make the delivery mechanism, the teaching learning process, then the assessment. So now we have understood the requirements. Once the requirement is known, then accordingly, we'll have to design our curriculum, design the delivery mechanism, teaching learning process, then the assessment. If we do that, then sure the learning happens. So if you talk about outcome-based education, in this we have outcome-based education, outcome-based curriculum, what is important for the students. Then outcome-based learning and teaching, how to make the students achieve the outcome is important. How to make the students achieve the outcome is important. Then outcome-based assessment, how to measure what the students has achieved, what the students has learned, what is the final learning experience of the students, what is the final learning outcomes of the students. This is important. So if you look at any educational institutions, they have a vision and they have a mission. Then they have program educational objectives, then program outcomes, then course outcomes. What is a program? Suppose you are running a 3 years program of B-Commerce or B Computer Science, BSc Computer Science. That is called as a program. So what is a course? To complete a BSc Computer Science, a student has to study 15 to 20 different subjects. Each subject is called as a course. Then below course, if you go, there is a module outcome, there is a unit outcome. So we need to find out what is the course outcomes, what is the program outcomes. Then when you prepare program outcomes, this is graduate attributes I have written. That means when a students complete 3 years, after completing 3 years, what is the outcome? That means graduate attributes. We should find out what is the attributes students should possess. Accordingly, we'll have to prepare our program outcomes. In my next slide, I will show you what is the attributes students should possess. The skills of the students, the knowledge of the students, the attitude of the students, the behavior of the students are most important. You are making the students employable after completion of their course, after completion of their program, as well making them a good citizen. A student should have some social responsibilities. That is also important. All those things we should teach to the students within these 3 years or 4 years of the, for completing the program. What is program educational objectives? Program educational objectives address the graduates' attainment within 3 to 5 years after their graduations. Program outcomes, okay. Program outcome is what students should know or attain by the time of graduation. I told you the students are just raw materials when they're taken admission in your college. We will make them a finished products. From raw material to finished products, what are those The process is the skills has to improve, the knowledge has to improve, the behavior has to improve, the attitude has to improve. Skills, knowledge, behaviors, and attitudes has to be improved. That is the processing part. Then your output is your finished products. Finished products should be sellable in the market. That means the student should be employable. Teachers need to develop a repertoire series of teaching strategies owing to differences in students' needs and learning styles. How can we enhance the thinking levels of our learners? Benjamin Bloom says education should focus on mastery of subjects and the promotion of higher forms of thinking rather than a utilitarian approach to simplify transferring facts. It is not only transferring the fact from faculty notes to the student notes. It is not that faculty will transmit the informations, transmit the messages, transmit the course materials to the students' notes. Faculty's notes to students' books or students' notes. That is not at all sufficient. So what is important is we need to take a students from one level of understanding to another level of understanding. Bloom says remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. That means it is whenever you give a concept to the students in the class, just mere remembering and understanding is not sufficient. You can make a student understand the concept in the class, but whatever he has learned, whether he is applying, whether he is analyzing, whether it is evaluating, whether it is creating, all those concepts are very important for the students to know. So that means the Bloom's taxonomy says we need to take a students from low order thinking to higher order thinking. Accordingly, we'll have to prepare our teaching learning process, teaching learning strategy. Accordingly, we have to prepare our course outcomes, program outcomes. When I prepare course outcomes, I will use the verbs like state, recall, list, label, name. As far as remembering is concerned, understanding I can use explain, summarize, comprehend, interpret. Applying I can use solve, compute, demonstrate, use. Similarly for analyzing, evaluating, and creating, I can use those verbs. I'll give a simple examples explaining the concept of low order thinking to high order thinking. I will explain remembering state Ohm's law. It's a law, forget about whether you know Ohm's law or not. Don't worry about it. I will try to explain what is low order thinking and what is high order thinking. Without understanding, student can express what is Ohm's law. But when we talk about I equal to B by R, I is current, B equal to voltage, R equal to resistance. If you ask something and without understanding, they cannot explain, they cannot write it with the help of a picture. Apply Ohm's law for solving a given problem. Analyze it, a circuit diagram is given, analyze and find out what is the current flow in 6 ohm resistors. That is simply analyzing. Okay, so we need to take a students from remembering till creating. Remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing is not sufficient. Evaluating and creating is also important. Whenever we set question papers in the mid-semester examinations, whenever we set a question papers for the end semester examinations, whenever we set a question papers for the assignment, for the quiz, there should be some questions from high order thinking skills. Students should analyze and apply. Gone are those days where 30 years back, only faculty is explaining, students are understanding. Remembering that itself was sufficient. You can see the old question papers, define this, explain this, define, explain, define, explain. Define this, explain this. Define on and explain will not solve the purpose of students. Applying is important, analyzing is important, creating is important, evaluating is important. This is another examples of Newton's law of 4 levels, not much same similar type of examples. Whenever we prepare a course outcomes, it should be student focused. It should not be professor focused. Not only coverage of students, course coverage. It should focus on the objectives and outcomes. Focus on abilities central to the disciplines. Focus should be on aspects of learning. I've given a simple examples, computer applications in business. Let me read out this course outcome. CO1, apply information technology in business. Understand e-commerce and m-commerce concept. CO3, understand the computer basics related to hardware and software. CO4, acquire practical knowledge about this. CO5, use of management information system at various levels of management. Similarly, for another course outcomes I've given. So what is important is program outcomes. I told you what program outcome will tell you. Program outcome is knowledge and competency profile of the students. The graduate attributes which form the students' learning outcomes. After 3 years, if it is a 3 years program, the program is 3 years. After 3 years, what is the learning experience of the students? What is the attributes students should possess? What is the knowledge of the students, competencies of the students, skills of the students, behavior of the students, and attitude of students? There are some attributes I have explained here. Knowledge of science and engineering and science and engineering or other discipline, knowledge on the subject, other specific discipline. Second, problem analysis, design and development of solutions, investigation of complex problems, modern tool uses, responsible to society, environment and sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork. He should work individually as well as he should work in a team. Communications, he should have good communication skills to communicate to others. Project management and finance, and lifelong learning. One should be a lifelong learners. So as I mentioned earlier, program outcomes describe knowledge, skills, and behavior of students as they progress from first year to second year to third year to final year. So I've written program outcomes here, apply to acquire and apply fundamental principles of science. See, whenever you are preparing a program outcomes, you should take all those points from the graduate attributes. As I mentioned here, whenever you're defining a program outcome, it should not be too broad. It must align with the graduate attributes. It must reflect all the graduate attributes. So it's like this: course outcomes, program outcomes. From program outcomes, all the for a particular program, they study 20 different courses. All those 20 different courses should be mapped with the program outcomes, whether there is no correlation or slight correlation or moderate correlations or high correlations. And when you prepare program outcomes, you have taken from the graduate attributes, then align with the program educational objectives, then the mission. In curriculum, you will find that in some of the components are like PO3, you can cite 5.33%. So if the curriculum component is less, so what you need to do? If the curricular component percentage is less, you should have some other training program for the students, some other audit course for the students to make it so that they will inculcate that attributes, whatever you have defined. All those attributes equally they should inculcate, students should inculcate. If they don't know environment, they don't respect how to protect the environment. If they don't know what is ethics, then professional ethics, that part also will not be understood when they complete their course, complete their program. So all those attributes, whatever we have defined, they should inculcate, they should possess those attributes when they complete their graduation. In academic process, you should have a academic calendar, timetable. So you have CO course outcomes, CO PO mapping, as I point out, syllabus, books, lesson plans, question bank, plan for the test, plan to cover content beyond syllabus, practicals, tutorials, plans. This is curricular planning. Then the delivery mechanism. In this class, what is the teaching methodologies I should practice? in which class I should conduct a quiz, which class the seminars will be conducted so that student will participate. So that is delivery mechanism, curricular aspect, co-curricular activities, projects, industry institute interactions, add-on courses. What is the add-on courses I will provide? What is the, suppose when a students take admission, what is the, do you conduct some test to know who is the advanced learners and who is the slow learners? What is the benefit you are giving to the advanced learners and what is the importance you are giving to the weak students? Do you conduct coaching classes? Do you conduct remedial classes? Do you conduct proctoral classes for the weak students to make them understand the concept? All those points are important. Then the assessment. Assessment is course outcome, program outcome, assessment and evaluation. Okay, look at this. This is, as I was mentioning, this is different course. Then what is the correlation levels? For every course, you have to find out what is the correlation level between CO and POs, whether slight correlations, moderate correlations, substantial correlations, and no correlations. So apart from POs, program outcomes, there should be some program specific outcomes. Program specific outcome is beyond program outcomes. It is specific to a particular program. It should be 2 to 4 in numbers. So if you find out the attainment, maybe as I was mentioning in this particular slide, the BSc Computer Science, the program outcomes, e-commerce, the program outcomes may be same. But program specific outcome is specific to the program. For BSc Computer Science, my program specific outcome may be after completing, my students will fit into the IT industries. That is one of my program specific outcomes. Similarly, for e-commerce course, they should have some 2 to 3 program specific outcomes. So defining program specific outcomes, program outcomes, course outcome is important. Apart from that, you should have attainment. Attainment of program outcomes, attainment of course outcome is important. Whenever you're finding the attainment, you should take some of the direct assessment tools and the indirect assessment tools. As far as course outcome is concerned, what is direct assessment tools? Assignment, mid-semester examination, and semester examination, they are direct assessment tools. Quiz, they are direct assessment tools. What is indirect assessment tools? Indirect assessment tool is the course exit survey. So you should take some percentage, maybe 90% from direct assessment tools, 10% from indirect assessment tools, merge it and find out what is the attainment as far as my course is concerned. Similarly, for program outcomes, there are some direct assessment tools, indirect assessment tools. Direct assessment tools you can take from all the courses. Indirect assessment tool you can take alumni survey, employer survey, parent survey. That is the indirect assessment tool you can take. So what is teaching? Teaching is not merely imparting knowledge to students, nor merely giving advice. Teaching is not passing information to the students. Teaching is not sharing one's own experience, sharing one's own experience. My experience, I have taught for so many years, I was there in NAC, this, that. Teaching is not sharing only one's own experience in life. Teaching is, it is establishing a harmonious relationship between teacher, student, as well as subject. I should like the subject what I'm teaching. I should have a harmonious relationship between all those 3 components involved: teacher, student, and subject. Teaching is the activity of facilitating the learner. Facilitating individually gives some importance to the learners. Defects in teaching is more talk, less opportunity to express, more emphasis on memory level thinking, more information, less explanation, less chance of encouragement, no planning. I don't know whether you have seen this movie 3 Idiots or not. I have said some slides to show on 3 Idiots, but the movie 3 Idiots, how to take students from teachers to learner is important. Innovative teaching techniques can be followed. We may not be suggesting something that is very new. Some of these methods are already available. Some of you are already practicing. I'm sure most of you are practicing innovative teaching techniques, brainstorming. Last 30 years, people are practicing brainstorming. Try to pose a questions, try to pose a word, try to get what students feels about it. That is the kind of exercise we do it last 30 years. Innovative teaching techniques, methods are relevant for all type of courses. Some people will say, sir, physics, it is not possible to have innovative teaching techniques. For mathematics, how do you have innovative teaching techniques? It is the duty of faculty members to find out what is the innovative techniques that will be suitable for my subject. It is the teachers who has to find out. Multimedia and animations, games, snacks and ladders, demonstrations can be given, then seminars can be conducted, role play can be conducted, group discussions can be conducted, then case studies can be given to the students and try to analyze. Then brainstorming. In the brainstorming, we can generate more ideas, as many ideas as possible in a very short time. All ideas are recorded without evaluation, and evaluated later actively involve all solve differently, encourage critical thinking of students. Similarly, you have other techniques like quiz, word puzzle, use of ICT. Education is not learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. Similarly, having fun is the best way to learn. How to bring innovation in technique teaching. Innovation in technique teaching is role play strength, interpersonal skills, communication skills, conflict resolution, developing insights, group decision making. Similarly, for field trip strength is students and teachers go outside the classroom. Most important experience is team building. Teachers get to go in more detail while at the location. At the place of field trip, they will discuss with the students and they will go more detail on the subjects. Similarly, learning games strength is engaged while learning through playing, learns social skills like sharing, develop problem solving skills, perfect way to channelize energy of hyperactive kids. The strengths of teaching with good sense of humor is physically and physiologically beneficial, cordial relationship, relax students and reduce stress, develop a harmonious students relationship between students and teachers. Group discussion strength, developing speaking skills, brainstorming provides feedback to students and teachers. Quiz helps to remember, improve or expanding one's knowledge of things, either general or in a specific area. Enable students to think from different out-of-box thinking, to think out of box. Why innovate? You innovate to move from passive teaching methods to participative teaching methods. We need to participate. We should make the students participate in the classroom. Teaching and learning, they go together. Teaching is the cause and learning is the effect. Cause and effect relationship, it is a relationship between events or things where one is the result of the other. Okay, result is learning, and the one which is teaching is the input, and learning is the outcome. See, if you are moving from instruction paradigm to learning paradigm, in the instruction paradigm, you can see the faculty provides or delivers instruction, offer courses and programs. It's faculty centered, competitive and individualistic classroom situations. Faculty is providing instructions, individualistic classroom situations. In the learning paradigm, it produces learning, provides powerful learning environments. It's learner-centered, cooperative, collaborative, and supportive classroom situations. If you look at this diagram, instruction paradigm is a subset of learning paradigm. Instruction paradigm plus apply different teaching pedagogy, teaching methodologies in the classroom, plus participative learning, plus collaborative learning, plus all those different teaching strategies equals to learning paradigm. Without teaching paradigm, without instruction paradigm, learning paradigm will never happen. Learning paradigm will happen by giving instruction, by teaching to the students in the class, plus applied use collaborative learning, plus use participative learning, plus then only this learning paradigm will happen. Learning paradigm focus on production of learning and not on delivery of instruction. Focus on why and how learners learn, not on what and how faculty teach. Faculty to do less teaching and learners to do more active learning. Use different assessment of methods to enrich the learner's learning experience. Change is possible only when I change the way I look at the issue. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Employability of learners. What are the employers' expectations from the learners? What can we do in the colleges or classes that will make them more employable? It is a survey conducted by taking some academicians. Even we also have conducted some survey by taking different academicians. For employability, we found that the outcome of the survey is students should develop their oral communication skills, enhance analytical and critical thinking skills, build teamwork culture for better problem solving, promote a positive attitude, develop mastery of subject matter, provide an equant learners to real-life employment situations in classroom, inculcate strong sense of integrity and individual accountability. The Harvard research on retention, 100% the speaker wanted to say, approximately 80% was said by the faculty members, 60% approximately was heard by the students, 40% approximately was remembered after 3 hours, 15% was approximately remembered after 3 days when there is examinations, after 3 months only 0 to 5% is remembered by the students. So we need to take the students from passive teaching methods to participative teaching methods. We need to take the students from passive teaching methods to participative teaching methods. What is participative teaching methods? 50% group discussion, 75% practice, and 90% teaching others. That is participative teaching methods. The challenge in academics is completion of syllabus is the biggest challenge. Meeting the academic deadlines, the examinations, the mid-semesters, the end semesters, that's the meeting deadlines is a challenge. But the need is act as catalyst to enhance critical and creative thinking skills. Encourage interactive teaching, ensure well-planned session. If you don't teach properly, the learning will end up the situation like this. If a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. Blueprint of faculty members is motivation is important. Industrial exposure of faculty member is important. Enhanced teaching learning process. The output is consistency in performance, better content delivery, and involvement in research. Blueprint of students, competency-based curriculum, state-of-the-art laboratories, faculty members, good faculty members, and good ambience. Outcome is academically sound, soft skill. They should develop in soft skills, professional approach, and diversified competencies. The blueprint of teaching learning processes, modern teaching aids, need-based curriculum, improved and personal independent evaluation. Output is higher acceptability, concept clarity, learning to learn skills, and diversified competencies. Tell me, I will forget. Show me, and I will remember. Involve me, and I will understand. That means we will involve the students in the classroom so that they will understand. What teacher is more important than what he teaches. The greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say that children are now working as if I did not exist. Italian physician and educator, best known for the philosophy of education, Maria Montessori. Micro teaching cycles. Of course, there are few students in this plan, teach, take feedback, replan, reteach, and re-feedback. That is micro teaching cycle. Micro teaching procedure involves 3 phases: knowledge acquisition phase, skill acquisition phase, and transfer phase. How psychologists define intelligence? Very important. This is, people have done a lot of research on intelligence of students. It is basically the ability to learn, the ability to recognize problems, and the ability not only to recognize problems but to solve problems. Research viewpoint on intelligence is learn from experience, recognize problems. That means identify the problems in the environment that needs to be addressed. Solve problems. What is the solving the problems? Solve problem is try to, when you identify the problems, okay, and they come up with a useful solutions. Come up with a useful solution to a problem they have noticed in the world. Okay. Next is, so similarly, Charles Spearman says intelligence is component of intelligence is working memory, visual spatial intelligence, fluid reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and knowledge. So it is nothing but, okay. Primary mental intelligence is associative memory, the ability to memorize and recall. Numerical ability, some students solve mathematical problems. Perceptual speed, the ability to see differences and similarities among objects. Some of them are reasoning, the ability to find rules. Spatial visualization, verbal comprehension, and word fluency. These are the primary mental abilities. But for education, we use theory of multiple intelligence. Howard Gardner says we all have different kinds of intelligence in different amounts that can be improved. We all have different kinds of intelligence in different amounts, and that can be improved. Some students possess linguistic intelligence styles. Today, when my inputs are this, I will teach this. This should be my slides. This should be my style of teaching. But my next year, my students are different. I should have different style of teaching. Different style of teaching is, my point is, we need to understand the intelligence profile of students. Accordingly, structure our curriculum. Accordingly, structure our teaching learning process, which will suit to the need of my students. It is that we should, by knowing the intelligence profile, some students possess very good in mathematical and logical skills, but very poor in communication skills. We need to identify, faculty members need to identify what is the prominent intelligence in the students and what is the least intelligence in the students. Apply the prominent intelligence to improve the least intelligence. Apply the prominent intelligence to improve the least intelligence. That is very important. The implications of multiple intelligence is, first, it implies that a faculty has to structure the teaching classroom activities to suit the profile of his learners. Second is, opportunities to the teachers need to provide opportunities to learners to demonstrate their learning through methods that match with their personal intelligence profile. The most important, third is, the most important is influence of faculty members to strengthen the areas that appear at the lower end of raw materials take addition in the school or college to the finished products after 4 years or 3 years. Whatever the intelligence profile low at the time of taking admissions, and their intelligence profile when we are processing it, the intelligence profile of the students will improve. It will strengthen the intelligence profile. Wherever there is a low intelligence profile, it is the duty of faculty members that strengthen the intelligence profile at the time of graduation. Identify prominent intelligence and least intelligence. Yeah. In more interactive, more participatory, more engaging, and more involving. The expectation is from the student is, know everything, do everything, work with anybody, anywhere, imagine and make it a reality. Faculty needs to be updated in latest technology, updated syllabus, keeping pace with the technological scenario of the world, project-based learning, more emphasis given to practicals. Every theory should be linked with some practicals. Education is not only learning of facts, but the training of the mind, as I told you. What makes a good teacher? Enthusiasm, eagerness, preparedness, punctuality, support and show concern for students, consistency, politeness, firmness and control, provides personal help. Do not criticize students and lose their face. Be humble, fair, uses variety of learning activities. Has a sense of humor, allow funniness and jokes. Does not teach from a sitting positions or leaning positions. Good interpersonal relations with students. Employ an effective delivery methods. Keep accurate records of work completed. Attendance, test results, and students' grades. Faculty has to play many different roles. Faculty can be guide, counselor, researcher, friend, coordinator, strategy planner, mentor, role model, problem solver, facilitator, planner, assessor, leader, negotiator, trend setter, ideas person, experimenter, and monitor. These are all the roles a faculty can play. Some questions for you as a teacher to consider. What is your teaching philosophy? What are your teaching goals? What do you know about your students? How does your course fit with previous course? How does your course link with subsequent courses? How does your course fit into the overall program being offered? How do you want your students to learn? How can you give them the best chance of learning this? How can you find out if they have learned it? How can you judge the effectiveness of your teaching? What do you know about yourself as a teacher? These are all questions a faculty can ask to himself. Take any three of the questions listed on the previous slides and provide brief responses that answer each question. So how the answers link together. Identify where there are gaps or disjunctions. Write down what you might do about this. Write down a question that remains in your mind. Take any, okay. Hello? Okay. Yeah, just a minute. Yes, tell me. Okay. 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 So it would seem that one of the big questions might be, how do I know how well I'm teaching? How can I ensure my students learn and what they should learn? And how can I continue to improve? Everything in your life is a reflection of choice. Reflection of choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice. See, this slide is very important. Determining concerns. Don't be reactive, always be proactive. Reactive, I can give a question like this. I will be happy when I have a full establishment. If only I had a boss who was not. If I had respect from students, then I would teach better. If I could just have management days, if the environment was more conducive, AC classrooms, this, that, then I will teach better. Instead of that, be always proactive. I can be a better role model. I can be more organized, more resourceful. I can be more loving, understanding. I will be more diligent. I can seek out personal and be able to understand. Research is, see, when you kind of research evaluated and in several forms. And despite years of debate, a lot of debates people have done, what is the effective and efficient method? The academic community is yet to reach a consensus. The academic community is yet to reach a consensus on effective and efficient methods to evaluate a research. It is fundamental academic system for self-regulation and quality assurance that is accepted and used worldwide. Research, what universities should do, priorities in terms of research activities, expected to invest in research profiles, center of excellence, and exposed to performance-based funding. Research is evaluate research output, analyze the publication and citation data. Bibliometric analysis is very important for funding agencies to give fund for research, to give fund for your projects. Accreditation agencies, the bibliometric analysis is very important. And universities, when deciding on the allocation of grants and giving accreditation as well as ranking. So in research, past performance approach is important. Past performance approach is your publications, where past success is rewarded. What is your publications in last 5 years? Based on the performance of last 5 years, today it will be rewarded. Rewarded in the form of recruitment, in the form of getting grants from funding agencies and all that. How to improve preconditions for research, how to create and support successful research teams and environments. Why successful and high quality research develops in some environments and not in others. You might be thinking that high quality research output produced only in one environment with good laboratory setups, with reputed institutes, there only it will be developed. The environment is important. Academic peer review system for recruitment, publications, accreditation, ranking, and funding. All those part research is important. How university management at all levels can contribute to the creation of high quality research. High quality research, academic leadership plays a very important role in shaping successful research environments in terms of delivering high quality research. A close relationship between research and education. Teaching and research, they go hand in hand. See, whenever you are teaching a subject, in that subject, you need to find out what is the latest technology in that area I should communicate to the students. Whatever is there in the books, whatever is there in the syllabus, apart from that, you need to teach to the students what is the research people are pursuing in that area. That is very important. So, some societal benefit research in every area. You can think of some social benefit research. You can think of some social benefit research like agriculture, healthcare, smart agriculture, smart parking management, smart water management, grid management, and smart quality drinking water. So papers should be communicated to Scopus, Web of Science, SCI Index journals, very reputed journals. If you send it to some journals, right, it will be there in the today. Some of them are asking questions. So it was there in the UGC journals, but UGC has removed it. I request everyone to publish papers in reputed publishers. We in NAC, we expect well-defined policy for promotion of research. Seed money to its teachers for research. Teachers receiving national, international fellowships, financial support by various agencies for advanced studies and research. Funding for research, grants received by non-government agencies, grants for research projects sponsored by the government agencies, research projects per teacher, incubation center, and other initiatives for creation and transfer of knowledge. Number of workshop seminars conducted on research methodology and intellectual property rights, entrepreneurship, skill development, awards, recognitions received, code of ethics for research, incentives to teachers to receive state, national, and international recognition awards, patents published, awarded, number of PhDs awarded per teacher, research papers per teacher in the journals, number of books and book chapters in edited volume, whether e-content developed, citation index in Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, Web of Science, H-index of the university, policy on consultancies, revenue generated from consultancy and corporate training, extension activities, collaboration activities, functional MOUs. Okay. Yeah, this is, now I will talk about something on assessment and accreditation process for affiliated constituent colleges. Right. If you look at, we have 7 different criteria, 34 key indicators, then 36 qualitative metrics, 79 quantitative metrics. This is for the universities. Similarly, for autonomous colleges and affiliated colleges, it is given the number of key indicators, qualitative metrics, and quantitative metrics. In affiliated PG, every criteria has curricular aspects. You can see there are 8 quantitative metrics and 3 qualitative metrics. If it is a quantitative metrics, the DVV, data validation verification partners, they look for the quantitative metrics. They will validate and verify. They will verify and validate the data which you are submitting. But as far as qualitative metric is concerned, that will be validated and verified by the PLT members when they go for visits. So every criteria has got quantitative metrics and qualitative metrics. In curricular aspects, the first criteria, curricular aspect is weightage is 100, curricular planning and implementations, academic flexibility, curricular enrichment, and feedback system. The weightages are different for this. So what is important is initiatives for effective curricular delivery, how the curricular is delivered to students. As I was mentioning, in teaching learning, what is the course plan? Do you have an academic diary? Do you conduct special classes for the students? Do you teach content beyond syllabus? What is the teaching methodology you practice in the classroom? So based on the academic, when you are conducting quiz, what is the kind of assignment you give to the students? In the teaching diary, class diary, do you have 5 years question papers? Because at the end of the course, we need to discuss the kind of questions they get in the examinations. That is very important. At least students should get a feeling of that kind of questions in the universities they ask. Whether you have choice-based credit system, whether you have elective courses, whether you are making the students, all the students, compulsory. Some of the institutes, they make it compulsory. No, 60 students, this is the elective. You should read wireless sensor network. This is the elective. This is the course we are providing. Or you are making the students 5 different subjects, 5 different courses you are giving as electives. What is the add-on and certificate programs you are conducting? Are you providing any add-on courses, certificate courses for employability? Whether you are providing some technical, the courses which is relevant to get a employable, students employable. Whether professional ethics, gender, human values, environment, sustainability, is it available in the curriculum? Percentage of courses and percentage of courses, project work and field work internship. How many students go for project work, field work? What is the curricular enrichment for the students for graduate employable? Whether you collect feedback from the students regarding curriculum, analyze it and action taken. Okay. Collect feedback, analyze the feedback, action taken, and the feedback available on the website. As I was telling, this is a qualitative metrics. Let me read out the qualitative metrics. Institution integrates cross-cutting issues relevant to professional ethics, gender, human values, environment, and sustainability into the curriculum. If it is a qualitative metrics, you need to write within 500 words, where the PRT members, when they go to the institute, they will look for this qualitative metrics. Weightage is 10. Similarly, the second one is a quantitative metrics. It is written 1.3.2. What is 1.3.2? The first one is criteria number. Second one is key indicator number. Last one is metric number. So it is average percentage of courses that include experiential learning through project work, field work, internship during last 5 years. It's a quantitative metrics. Weightage for that metric is 10. For this, you need to upload the Excel file. The Excel file format also we have given. You need to write everything in the Excel file. Then supporting documents also has to be scanned document also has to be submitted. So how this works? The first one is a qualitative metric, 1.3.1. 1.3.2 is a quantitative metrics. Again, quantitative metrics. The mark distribution is 10, 10, 10, or 30 is the weightage. Every metric is mapped onto 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every metric is mapped onto 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If the quantitative metrics depends on your response, suppose number of value-added courses conducted in last 5 years. What is your how many value-added courses you have conducted? Your response, that response is converted into 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose you get 3 there, 3 multiply with the weight value. Suppose the weight is 10, 10 into 3 is 30. Similarly, here I have calculated. First one is a qualitative metrics. PRT members has given 2 there, 10 into 2 is 20. Second one is 3 there, 3 DVB partner is validated and computer generated is 3, 10 into 3 is 30. Third one is 20 to 20. Totally you have 70 there, but maximum institution may get is 30 into 4 equal to 120. 4 is the maximum value because 1000 is the weightage. 1000 if you get maximum 4 everywhere, 1000 into 4 equal to 4000. 4000 divided by 1000, 4.00 is the CGPA. Similarly, criteria 2, teaching, learning and evaluation. Here, student enrollment and profile. Maximum weightage given to teaching, learning and evaluation as far as affiliated colleges are concerned. We expect more research from autonomous and universities, but teaching, learning is more as far as affiliated colleges are concerned, and research components, research weightages are slightly less. Here we have student enrollment and profile, catering to student diversity, teaching, learning process, teacher profile and quality, evaluation process and reforms, student performance and learning outcomes, student satisfaction survey. So in this we ask for how many seats filled against reserved categories for various reservation policies, whether reservation policies is followed or not followed. How many seats are reserved for reservation category and how many seats are filled. Whether institute assess the learning level of students. Who are the advanced learners, who are the slower learners. As I was mentioning earlier, what is the motivation, what is the encouragement you give it to the advanced learners? Are you allowing them to participate in the conferences, in the workshops, in the hackathon competitions, in the Skill India competitions? Whether you are allowing the students to participate, motivation you are giving to the advanced learners. What is the slow learners? What is for weak students? What do you conduct? Do you conduct coaching classes? Do you conduct remedial classes so that they will understand the class? So program conducted for advanced learners and slow learners is important. What is student full-time teacher ratio? What is the definition of full-time? Please read our glossary. You will find the definition of full-time. Otherwise, this government colleges, they will ask, sir, we have less number of faculties, we have contract faculties, we have part-time faculties and all that. So what is a full-time teachers? We have given in our glossary. Student-centric methods, as I was mentioning, experiential learning is important, participative learning is important, problem-solving methodologies is important. Whether student-centric methods are participated by or applied in the classroom by the faculty members. Whether faculties are using ICT tools for effective teaching learning process. What is the ratio of mentor to mentee? How many teachers with PhD qualifications? Whether you have defined program outcomes and course outcomes, whether attainment of program outcomes and course outcome is there or not. How many percentage, pass percentage of students, whether the online student satisfaction survey, NAC, conduct online student satisfaction survey by directly giving a link to stratified sample of students. Okay, then yeah, you can look at this, how this is evaluated. First is 1.3.1. The first one is a qualitative metrics. Institution integrates cross-cutting issues relevant to professional ethics, gender, human values, environment, and sustainability into the curriculum. Second one, 1.3.2, is a quantitative metrics. So in quantitative metrics, what happens is, as I told you, every metric is mapped onto 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If your response is more than or equals to A, you get 4. If it is A to BB, you get 3. If it is BB to CC, you get 2. If it is DD to CC, you get 1 less than DD, you get 0. Based on that, based on your responses, it will be calculated either 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Criteria 3, research, innovations and extensions. I already discussed this with you. The NAAC expectation on research, research mobilization for research, innovation ecosystem, research publications and awards, extension activities and collaborations. Grants for research projects. I was already telling you intellectual property rights, whether you're conducting programs, research papers published by faculty members, community development or extension activities by the students and faculty members, awards and recognitions received, what is the linkages we have, faculty exchange, student exchange program, internship, field trips, on-the-job training program, number of functional MOUs, number of functional MOUs with national and international corporate houses. Next is, okay.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. Criteria 4 is your infrastructure learning resources, physical facilities, library learning resource, IT infrastructure, maintenance of campus infrastructure. Yeah. Dr. Paramarsh, will you take up now?
You can finish the key indicators. Complete the key indicators till 7. You just took 1 hour 15 minutes.
Okay.
20 minutes. I'll just come.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So, adequate facilities for teaching and learning, classroom, laboratories, apart from all the physical facilities which I will be discussing now. But at this juncture, we need more ICT facilities. We need more bandwidth in ICT facilities. E-journals, e-South Sindhu, South Ganga, integrated library management system. Sitting at home, I should be in a position to access the library. Whether you have e-books, databases, adequate facilities for sports and games, of course, indoor games, outdoor games, gymnasium, yoga centers. What is the annual expenditure for purchase of books and e-journals? E-content, whether it's developed, e-content is developed by the faculty members. Do you have a media centers? Wi-Fi facilities, bandwidth of internet connections, student computer ratio for the current year. Okay. Whether your website is dynamic, online learning resources are available or not, housekeeping and cleanliness is there or not. All those in criteria 5, we have student support and progression, student support, student progression, and student participation activities, then alumni engagement. So, student support and progressions, students benefited by scholarship and free trips provided by the government agencies, capacity building and skill enhancement programs conducted for the students, language and communication skills, life skills, yoga, physical fitness, health and hygienic, ICT and computing skills. Whether remedial coaching is provided for the students, whether bridge courses provided, personal counseling, yoga and meditations, what is the placement of outgoing students, whether timely readdressal of student grievances, outstanding student performance in sports, cultural activities, in university, state and national levels, student council and representation in academic and administrative bodies of the college, whether students participate in academic bodies, whether students participate in administrative bodies or not, what is the alumni, role of alumni, contribution of alumni, whether the alumni association is registered, how frequently you conduct alumni association meetings, and what is the contribution of alumni to the institute, career guidance and personal placement services, facilitating educational loans to the students, anti-ragging, prevention of sexual harassments. In criteria 6, we have governance, leadership and management, institutional vision and leadership, strategy development and deployment, faculty empowerment strategies, financial management and resource mobilization, internal quality assurance systems. Effective leadership in tune with the vision and mission. Practices decentralized and participative management. What is the perspective and strategic plan and deployment documents? whether your e-governance in all the areas of operation, whether you have a proper organizational structure or not, whether you have different committees to meet the requirement of academics and non-academics, effectiveness of various committees for teaching and non-teaching staff. Financial support to attend conferences, workshops, faculty development programs, online programs, or face-to-face programs, teachers attending professional development programs, orientation programs, refresher course, short-term course, okay, and internal and external financial audits, for mobilization of funds, methodologies for operations, and learning outcomes. IQSE plays a very vital role as far as academic audit is concerned. IQSE plays a very vital role in conducting the best practices workshops, conducting the innovative practices workshop, conducting the innovative teaching strategies. It should explain to all, conduct programs so that faculty will be motivated to apply those teaching techniques in the classroom. So IQSE cell plays a very vital role. Whether academic and administrative audits, what is the improvements made during the last 5 years is important. Last criteria, institutional values and best practices. Here 100 is the weightage, institutional values and social responsibilities, best practices, and institutional distinctiveness. Here gender equity, safety and security, counseling, common room, power requirement of the universities met by renewable energy. Do you have lighting power requirements, waste management, like solid waste management, liquid waste management, biomedical, e-waste management, rainwater harvesting is there or not, whether green practices, whether you conduct green audits, quality audits, right? Institutional disabled friendly, barrier free environment, code of conduct, okay, engage with and contribute to local community, whether you have a code of conduct handbook exists for students, for teachers, for governing body, for administration, including vice chancellors, directors, principal officials, and support staff. Do you have a code of conduct handbook? Institutional plans and organize appropriate activities to increase consciousness about national identities, national and international commemorative days, institutional best practices you need to write, then describe, explain the performance of the institution in one area, distinctive to its vision, priority, and trust. Next is your QA unit to submit. I request you to mute, madam. IIQA, then SSR submission. In SSR, you need to submit metric data, then data validation and verification, then pre-qualifications, then peer-to-peer visits, and assessment outcome documents. When you submit your 75% is almost DVV, it go for quantitative metrics, 25% is your qualitative metrics. These are some of the screenshots, how to submit the documents. In quantitative metrics, you have 5 different type of questions you have. In somewhere you submit last 5 years data, in somewhere average percentage of last 5 years data, in somewhere multiple choice questions, in somewhere current year data, in somewhere current year data ratio. These are some of the examples, but I will just tell you the last slides, which is very important. Okay. The last slide is to achieve quality. We need to work together, collaborate with others, tolerate differences, respect diverse views, because none of us is as smart as all of us. Closing remarks in life: it is not the most talented who survive, not the most intelligent, but the ones who are most responsive to change, and the real change can happen only when you listen to your inner voice, the intuition, and it is never too late. Take risks in your life. If you win, you can lead. If you lose, you can guide. I just about to tell you one but small movie actually, Three Idiots. I don't know how many of you have seen this movie. It's a when the professor used to ask what is a machine, and the hero, the student used to answer what is a machine. You are trying to answer. This is a pen, is a machine, this is a machine. Then this person is just remembered and trying to explain what is a machine. Then the professor told the students to get out. Then the person, the American, has left some books. He wanted to get those books. He was trying to explain what is the definition of books, instrument, that records, analyze, summarize, organize. Then the professor didn't understand. This is the thing, and he was teaching in the class. I wanted to show some picture. This is the thing. I next over to Dr. Ponmodidas.
Oh, thank you for the wonderful session, sir. So, since we are time conscious people, Professor Amia has explained very categorically intellectual curiosity, very beautifully about learning and research. He started with learning and research, then he went systematically into the criteria of NAAC. 7 criteria, key indicators, quantitative metrics, qualitative metrics. Very important for the mentee colleges, principals and IPSC coordinators and teachers of mentee colleges. Second is the intellectual curiosity, which he was talking about, and always very sequenced presentation. Thank you, Professor. Can I take some questions for Shelby and Shelby, Principal Madam? Questions. So, any questions? Because we don't have access to the full chat, I couldn't find, only compliments are there. Very good audience. Thank you for the patient listening. Can we take up some question answers? Then I'll have a small 3 slides presentation.
So very amazing to know the facts about teaching learning, sir. And you have touched almost all areas of teaching learning. It will be very useful, sir. All the participants, sir, especially the OBE, POs and PSOs, and learner-centric approach details, and about research also. You have given you have thrown some inputs about that, sir. Sir, about the publishing journals in reputed papers, reputed journals, papers in reputed journals and all. So very useful, and also touched the criteria, sir, 7 criteria. We are very glad and thankful to you, sir. So now the questions, people will be posting waiting for questions. The participants are encouraged to put their questions.
Okay, by the time the questions can come, what shall we? I'll just start. I have just only 3-4 slides. I'll make a quick comment. So I took some 10 minutes in the introductory part. Now we'll just take less than 10-15 minutes, and we'll have some question answer session. Hope the audience will be there for us if we exceed 12:30 and 12:35 or so.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Now let us talk about intellectual curiosity. Very important is intellectual curiosity. திருக்குறள்ல பொருட்பால்ல 421 430 430 by Thiruvalluvan. In Tirukkural we can see அறிவுடைமை. We can beautifully see the possession of knowledge. The possession of knowledge very categorically says அறிவுடையார் 2 இருக்குது 423 and 430. Everybody understands this language, so please go through it. I did not read it because again more people are from across the country are there. And very important when you talk about intellectual curiosity, this is one slide which impressed me a lot, is about Ben Johnson talks about, I crave for data and I'm always eager to find new ways and get them faster. The speed in which the teacher delivers, the speed in which the learner, it is more than the CPU processing speed. This is how our brain works. But I wonder if there are ways to get people to share the same enthusiasm and the speed of first bench, last bench, middle bench, whether LKG, 8th standard, 12th standard, BSc, MSc, MPhil, PhD, whether 4 students, PhD scholars, MPhil students, 10 students or 8 students, whether they share the same speed and enthusiasm. This is where we can't force intellectual curiosity when others are not in the same wavelength, vibration, aren't wired the same way. This is what Ben Johnson talks about. Let me talk about the skill set. We all understand. Morning, in the introduction, I was talking about National Skill Development Corporation of India, Government of India, NSDC. definition of skills by Government of India and competencies. But we all know the basics of teaching skills, the hierarchy of skills. The next slide talks about the hierarchy of skills. He talks about Bloom's taxonomy and revised Bloom's taxonomy and learning, intelligence. Now we talk about the skill of introduction. We normally know in a classroom situation, skill of explaining. You explain the concept, then you question, the power of questioning, the power of silence, the power of questioning. Then there is a skill of reinforcement. We reinforce the point, reiterate the point. Hammer, again and again we reinforce the point. Then we have a closure. The simple concept of was an article or an indefinite article in English, or whether to use a university or an university. Why we use an indefinite article, or why you use an article in English literature, or for a simple mathematics. Mathematical concept of isosceles triangle or a right angle triangle, or a triangle within a triangle. How come opposite? Or for a simple cosecant theta and a sine theta. Simple sine theta with cos theta, we go for tan theta, then we ask for 1 divided by tan theta is cot theta, then we go by 1 divided by sine theta, 1 divided by cos theta. We find out cosecant theta and secant theta. So simple mathematical concept, or an English literature, or a biological, microbiological concept. How do you reinforce? The skill of reinforcement in a classroom of 45 minutes or 1 hour or a 1.5 hours, a demonstration of a MSc microbiology lab. This is very essential for a skill set. Then you close it in the 40 minutes, 35 minutes, you close it. Then there is a stimulus variation. You walk around, you track, you get the attention, all the stimulus are into a picture, you get the attention, you make them to do it, you make them to demonstrate, you make them to catch it. For all these things, the old school of thought is about the blackboard. Still blackboard works, talk and talk works, but electronic gadgets, ICT, very important is ICT, and about the power of ICT and the use of ICT, the computers and gadgets, and all these skills are very important. This is what we learn in a classroom situation, or a UGC, HRDC refresher courses, or an orientation program, or in a simple B.Ed M.Ed class, or in a teacher training. This is the basic skill set, skills of introduction, skills of explaining, skills of questioning. Now we have flipped, we have using different, PowerPoint itself, somebody can do PhD. So many animations are available. That itself is an ocean. Some people say PowerPoint itself is not ICT. We don't agree. It is one of the, it is one of the points in which we talk about. There's an hierarchy of skill set. This is somewhere quoted from Amsterdam and by Pittsburgh University. We call about teaching skill set. Very important is I go from the bottom line. The top is the leadership and critical thinking. Very important is conflict resolution. When you talk in a classroom, when you say a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square, and you start explaining, immediately people will say, no sir, a plus b whole square is equal to a square minus 2ab. The students have some conflict in mind. The learner has some conflict. We call it daydreaming. In psychology, conflict resolution within the teacher, within the learner, within the department, with the controller of examination, the dean, with the team, with the organization. Conflict resolution is any area. As a teacher, you should know how to resolve conflicts in a classroom, in a very important in a cultural program, in a sports activity, in a volleyball, interdepartmental volleyball meet, or for example, a yoga class, or in gender equity. So you must be able to know how to make, this is a skill set, conflict resolution. Conflicts bound to happen. My friend was talking about agreeing to disagree. He was talking about one particular point in one of the slides. I do not know how many of you closely observed all his slides. Very important points he made. And second is imaginative thinking. You have to imagine to the core what happens if you put the circumference and the cylinder inside a small, a kind of absolute triangle or an acute angle triangle. So simple imaginative thinking. I'm just giving you mathematical examples. I can give you sociology examples also. Next is technological skills. Now people will be totally outdated if you don't use computers. Please, technology to the core, even the lathe or a mechanical engineer or for whatever the laboratory equipments necessary for a microbiology. Very important is the technological skills you need. It's a big skill set. Everything is, I'm not going into the subset of all these teaching skill set. You go to the University of Pittsburgh and other university, any search engine of Google, you will find all these things. But very important, you adapt to the classroom situation, try to adapt it and just try to overwork on it and try to explain these things. Now, teaching skill is very important is organization. You organize your lesson plans. Very important is lesson plan is not for 8th standard, 10th standard, even for MSc, MA students. You organize, not for your vice principal and principal. As a teacher, you organize your lecture. That 15 minutes time management is very, very essential. Very essential. We stick to the time. Every time I talk about the time, 10:30 sharp we started. We took 16 minutes for inauguration. And my friend took 1 hour and 15 minutes plus additional time because I requested him due to some technical reasons. He took additional 17 minutes. This time management for a teacher is very, very essential. As teacher, once we start, we never stop. This is never ending. Second is communication. Communication is an ocean by itself. Communicating without communication. Talking without speech. The power of silence. Sri, Ravi Shankar has written a book on power of silence. I wish people could read that book. The power of silence. That does not mean a teacher has to go to a classroom and simply keep quiet and come out. Communicating without communicating. Body language without body language. With body language. Uma bhasha pesa mudiyad. So this is very, very essential. Patience. A teacher has to have patience. Any questions, any interruption, when your flow of thought is going on, don't say, let me complete it, then I will take up the question. That's okay. That some people say, no, let me complete my presentation. Most of your questions will be answered. Then you ask a question. So the students and the learner are put off. Ask the students more to talk. That is what the third or fourth slide about my friend, Professor Amir spoke about that. Many people should talk, students should talk, students should not keep quiet, they should keep on questioning. You manage, you organize. Very important above all is critical thinking. Why can't we put acetic acid with this? Why can't we put this with this, base with this acid and let us see? Experimental, critical thinking. But very important is you have to take care of the safety and security measures in a chemistry lab or a physics lab for that matter. Finally, at the top of it comes leadership. All this I am not put it in a hierarchy, though it is called hierarchy of teaching skill set. I have not put as a bottom to top approach. Of course, it is a bottom to top approach on a pyramid structure or a cone structure, upside down cone structure. Now let us see the last slide. This is my last slide. I just wanted to talk about, this is also a pyramid structure. Now you all understand, he already spoke about this. Very important is know. In a small way of a religious study, we talk about what is that? Can you define the definition of why God created us? Something religious study. On a spiritual study, people used to ask the question. And there is an answer people teach in religious studies. Or in a social religious or the social motivational studies, people tell them to know him, to love him, and to serve him. Simple three basic things they talk about. To know is very, very big word in English, K-N-O-W. That means from top of the head to the bottom of the feet, you should know. Knowledge. Know is a very big word. Head, know, knowledge, wisdom. Go to Thesaurus and Oxford Dictionary, you will find simple English. So you must acquire the basic knowledge, the fundamental principles of how it operates, how that machine operates, how the grinding machine operates. You go to grind chili powder or chili. மிளகுத்தூள் அரைக்கிறதுக்கு போறீங்க, மல்லித்தூள் அரைக்கிறதுக்கு போறீங்க, கோதுமை அரைக்கிறதுக்கு போறீங்க for a wheat grinding machine. How the machine operates. Try to learn. No, sir, it is all ITI students and 10th standard and all polytechnic students will know, or a mechanical engineer will know. This is the intellectual curiosity. The topic is about curiosity. You force the children or you make the children. You don't force them in some situations. You make the children because you cannot force. That's what Ben Johnson's talk about. So this basic knowledge is important. A simple, fuse has gone in your home. So you're a 12th standard student. You know the simple volt. He gives an HOTS example. My good friend talked about Ohm's law and other examples. So why don't you put the fuse? Why don't you use a screwdriver and just try to remove the plug point and see where is the short circuit? This is what the basic knowledge should help you in playing or to get an apprentice or a motivational use of knowledge. You have to use the knowledge. in a day-to-day activity. In a day-to-day activity, you must use the knowledge. Now, what is once you become using after experience counts, but as a knowledge expert, what you must do is what is the purpose of that useful. Very important, because you have a lot of knowledge. It's not that it is useful. No, what is the purpose of using that knowledge? Where is it should be used? How it should be used? These are the questions very important as a specialist when you work as a teacher or an electrical engineer. You're working in an electricity board, Tamil Nadu Electricity Board, TNEB, or you're working in an harbor in Nagapattinam, or in a streamer, or neighboring, you're shuttling between or somewhere here and there between Nagapattinam and South and Vedaranyam. I just give you all South examples because the host college is from that particular place. I was talking about how did you use this as a specialist. Next is how to use the knowledge to resolve the problems. Your society, your classroom, your subject, your day-to-day activities, your family. This is what in the old Gurukula system, what we call about Guru Shishya Parampara. When you talk about Guru Shishya Parampara, very important is the knowledge you have learned you must be able to eat your father, mother, your brothers, sisters, your in-laws, and you must be able to help the others, neighboring society. So the knowledge should help to solve the problems. Water crisis, rainwater harvesting, or any disaster management, anything for that matter, floods, volcanic eruptions, or any of that matter for any disaster during the pandemic, you must be able to help. This is what is all about intellectual curiosity, and very important is the learning, the learner, and the learning and research, especially with teaching skill set. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I got the references from there. I will take up some questions. Hardly any 4 slides I have put. I thought I'll just keep on going in another 5-6 minutes, but I can stop it and take up some questions and answers.
Sir, question 1. Sir, shall I tell you the question, sir?
Yes, please read the questions.
1. At this COVID-19 situation, what is the position of NAC on starting inspections or processing of SSR?
Sir, what has happened is wonderful question, very good question. I kindly request you to go through the website of NAC. All the notices are live. Some of the notices are in archives. You can just search engine. You can use just any search of NAC website. You will find that. Point number 1, all peer team visits which has happened from March, almost from last week, 2018-19 onwards, or even 16-17 onwards, is postponed till the new normal comes. The normal situation comes by the government of India or by a state government or by a university. Normal functioning of colleges happens. Till then it is postponed. Then once the normal returns, we will ask you when you want the visit. Okay, point number 1. Point number 2, people who have already submitted IAQA self-study report, once the normal comes from the government of India as well as from the state government, after the normal, 3 months time has been given. It is on the website of NAC. Please note. Earlier also that extension was given. It was given for 1 month. Now it is 3 months given. So for IAQA, DVV. Point number 3, if people are responding for DVV, we have not stopped NAC activities. We are continuing. People are submitting IAQA during pandemic period. People are submitting SSR. People are responding to DVV. So we have not stopped. Things are going on except peer team visit. Peer team visit is stopped. Other things are going on. But if you do not want to do it, we are giving extension. Everywhere extension is given. Otherwise, 15 days, 10 days, 30 days, time limit is there. Please look into the website, including AQR, extensions are given. 4th point, if you lie for 2nd cycle, 3rd cycle, 4th cycle, if you are coming or during that pandemic period, COVID period, we pray God that this pandemic will be out of the face of earth. But during the pandemic period, if you fall, for that also extension is given. 1st cycle extension, 2nd cycle extension, 3rd cycle extension, 4th cycle extension. Till you submit, there is a clause. As soon as the new normal comes, within 3 months, you must submit IAQA. Then the extension is valid. Otherwise, it is not valid. And if your first accreditation is exhausted in December 2019, you cannot expect extension. You already lost your accreditation. So people cannot use this pandemic period for something else, because you should have submitted in the last 6 months. Pandemic started, lockdown 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, unlock 1.0, 2.0, all started from March 23rd, 24th, 25th. So very important for colleges, IQAC coordinators, university people, dear ladies and gentlemen, this very important question what the gentleman or lady has raised. Thank you.
Next question, sir. Whether college has only one vision and mission, or every department has a vision and mission statement, sir?
So, Ramyo, it can. Okay, you can start.
Your department also can have vision and mission, which should be in line with the vision and mission of the college or the university.
Very important.
Okay.
Very important.
When we go for other accreditation agency like National Board of Accreditation, where they go for program accreditation, they also look for department vision and mission. But it should be in line with the vision and mission of the university or vision and mission of the college. It cannot be completely separate, because ultimately you are fulfilling the mission of your institute. You are fulfilling the vision of your institute in the long term. But that should be, so a department also, all the departments should work together. All the departments should work together to fulfill the mission of the institute. In that case, all of them contribute to the fulfilling the mission of the institute. So they can't have different vision and mission. They should have a vision and mission which should be in line with the vision and mission of the institute.
Thank you, sir. Next question, sir. What are the activities come under Intellectual Properties Right Act?
So,
what are the activities come under Intellectual Properties Right Act?
So, intellectual property right is a legal concept. It refers to creation of the mind for which exclusive rights are given, like exclusive rights are recognized, like your common types of IPR or copyrights. You talk about trademarks, you talk about patents, you talk about industrial designs. These are all coming under your IPR. Do you like to add something, Purmudi?
It's okay. That question is not there now. Earlier also we asked that, but anyway, a good question. I thought I will just take up little value added to the previous question also. Very important. People just say, okay, vision and mission. People are asking, put some Ramtana, put some Hindi, Sanskrit, Latin, Greek, and say some, motto, code of arms, something and all. ADM management, somebody started, religious institutions started. Everybody have one vision and mission. It is not like that. It should have a cascading effect, pyramid effect. In fact, if you go through the unit module outcomes, every outcome, there is a funnel diagram. My friend was trying to, I don't know whether he has put, I missed that slide. So very important, the vision and mission of your department, of your individual should have a cascading effect top to bottom, bottom to top, in line with your institution and your management. Your management can have some 10, 20 colleges also. Sometimes a government college, Karur, government arts college somewhere in Trichy or Nagapattinam. Everybody should have a national agenda, state agenda. Why? Whether any agenda we offer MSc microbiology, there should be a vision and mission of the department with your college, with your state government, with the national agenda. It's a very beautiful question. I do not know how many of you understand vision, mission, goals, objectives. Very, very important. As important as anything else. International agencies give a lot of emphasis. NBA also gives a lot of emphasis. We also give. Okay. Coming to the intellectual property rights. There is a design problem. It is more of engineering, science, and technology oriented. Normally, librarians tell that we have a copyright. For a book, you cannot take photocopying of 10 copies of the books and keep it. The librarian should always advise the principal and others on the teaching staff. There is a copyright. Okay, very important is copyright. I cannot take anything from Sophia Porcelvi and say it is mine. It is cheating. You have to acknowledge. Very important is acknowledging, referencing, acknowledging. Wherever you take it, must acknowledge. If you are able to change without similarity, then it's fine. Urkud or any Turnitin software, you can put it and you can publish a lot of papers and projects, whatever you want. Coming to the IPR as per se, please go through the patent website. Patent website, international patent as well as Government of India IPR websites are available. Websites are available. There is a huge, my friend talked about design, concept, or even a module. A module, once it is patented, once it got patented, you cannot take it. You have to give patency, kind of a license and you have to take it from them. It involves huge of licensing. It involves a lot of money and other activities. It is not filing alone once it is granted. So intellectual property rights is mostly to do with design, development, R&D. I started with copyright and many others, I'm just giving only the tip of an iceberg. It's an ocean by itself. In fact, we had a question in the last manual. Have you conducted, organized as a college anything on intellectual property rights workshop? Normally, people have 1 day seminar, half a day, 3 hours, morning, evening, 6 hours. It cannot be done like that. Normally, people say, I do not know, at least 15 days you have to organize, like RC, refresher course or an orientation program. Otherwise, you cannot write you can have a workshop on IPR. IPR is not just like that. So it is a full-fledged workshop. It's a very good question, madam. IPR, intellectual property rights. Please go through the website of that. IPR websites are available and patents are there. State government is there. Please go to the State Government Institute of Science and Technology also. You will find an area of IPR. I wish there should be a technological council. There is a Government of India websites where you can find that also.
Sir, thank you, sir. 2 more questions, sir. Are these webinars equalized with ordinary seminars? Are these webinars equalized with seminars?
This question is coming to both of us for at least 20 webinars, madam. Professor Ramya. Good.
See, face-to-face and webinars, for us, there is no difference, right? Whether you conduct face-to-face or you conduct a webinar like this, online programs, we want some things to be beneficial for the faculty members and students. That is our motto, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Next question.
What about IKSC cell in the first time accreditation, sir?
Oh God, why not, madam? Why not, madam? Please, madam. We used to quote those days. We used to even propagate some of the colleges because some of the universities had a full-fledged IQAC cells. Okay, like our Department of Botany, BSc Botany, MSc Botany, MPhil Botany, PhD Botany, AC, DLit, whatever it is, like a full-fledged department we call in a college or a university. Like that, IQAC was a full-fledged department in 3 universities those days: University of Mysore, the University of Kashmir, and the University of Jammu. And some of the colleges, some of the colleges had, for example, Sita Lakshmi Ramaswamy Ayer College in SRC College in Trichy, Rice College in Bangalore. I can quote many institutions. Much before we talk about IQAC, they talked about, but they had a different concept. It is called Center for Education Beyond Curriculum. SRC had a different concept. So many other colleges would have also had. But back in its document, in early documents, really appreciative of some of the colleges and universities having IQAC very, very important. So quality is within. The first document of NAC in 1994, 96, 98 was brought out as IQAC, not the manuals. So please have IQAC, because as per UGC guidelines, go to www.ugc.ac.in and get, like intellectual property rights. I was giving you example. Go through the website, because about mind, about concept, about design, about ideas, IPR is there. So similarly, go to the website of UGC. You will find about IQAC. State governments are insisting on IQAC. Every college, every university should have an IQAC. As far as that is concerned, we emphasize only as a post-accreditation initiative after first cycle accreditation. But I urge the request that every college and university should have an IQAC and start working on it. Start working on it. Very important. IQAC can motivate teachers, webinars in this pandemic period, research, publications, so many things. Professor Ramya, would like to add, or it's enough?
Yeah, they should have IQAC. They should, at least for quality improvement. For quality improvement, it's for quality audit, departmental quality audit, program audit. They should have IQAC. Nothing wrong. They should have.
Sir,
Our intention
is about IKC, or all activities should be done in IKC, sir?
Oh, no, madam. No, madam. Again, repeated question. Sorry, no problem. We can, as a teacher, we have a lot of patience to tell you. IQAC, some of the good management out of 28 years of experience. My friend does also have a lot of experience as an IQAC member of a university, as an assessor. He was an assessor for universities and colleges. I can tell you, madam, I take an example of private aided colleges and self-financing colleges. Not that I'm leaving government colleges. Once the IQAC is doing well, the principal and management gives all the work to IQAC, which is wrong. Once the IQAC is not performing well, IQAC is naam ke bas, just IQAC is there. All the work is given to a group of people around the principal who is doing all the work. So this is not a good style of leadership and management. IQAC has a definite role, function, strategies. In my presentations, I have a lot of slides on IQAC functions. I can give the presentation, madam. Please circulate to everyone.
Okay, sir.
NAC document very categorically talks about IQAC document. IQAC has a role. Only that role they have to perform. It is not, it is above all other committees. UGC has statutory committees. State government has statutory committees. Your affiliating university have statutory committees. You all understand what is important committees which the university says, law of the land. Those committees should be there. It cannot be replaced with IQAC. IQAC is not above everyone. It is not under everyone. Very important. It is a love of labor. It is a quality improvement exercise.
Sir, last question. According to NAC, fourth criteria, how to calculate the students and staff users log? Whether we need to calculate in semester basis or working hours of library.
Librarian's question, logins of library. Earlier we used to ask how many books are there in the library. That question was not at all there from 1st April 2017. Now what is happening on there? We have asked about footfalls. So our footfalls or logins we ask. So any logins, librarian should understand this language. Professor Amyo, login as what time you logged in, what time you logged out, timing is there, madam. Professor Amyo.
Yes, see, some places they have login, logout, biometric, or some kind of system they have it, or sometimes they put it in the book and they used to write. See, our intention is, we understood that many faculty members and the students, they don't go to the library. Our intention, what is the use of keeping, spending so much of money keeping books in the library if the faculty members and students, they don't go to the library? It will create a different environment altogether. It will create a different atmosphere altogether. Our intention of asking such question is to know that faculty members and students, they are using the library and discussing, at least in some reading room places, discussing with the students, motivating the students. That is our interest. Due to that, we ask these questions. Everybody should take it in a positive spirit. If the faculties and students are not going to the library, for today or tomorrow onwards, from tomorrow onwards, everybody should go to the library and try to read at least for 1 hour or 2 hours. That is the way we plan to ask this question. For the benefit of institutions only, our interest is the quality culture. This is again one of the quality cultures as far as library is concerned. Librarians should happy to see each one of you inside his house. Inside his house means inside the library premises. That is the way we ask this question for evaluation. Yes, madam.
Sir, next one more question, sir. Whether the IQAC is under statutory or non-statutory committee? Statutory or non-statutory committee?
Whether NAC is a statutory committee or a non-statutory committee, madam. You all should understand what is statutory committee. AICT is law of the land. UGC is law of the land. It is created by act of parliament or act of legislature or of the provincial government. So when the university, Bharatidasan University is your parent university, when it is university is created by the state law, state legislature, and they have a regulation for affiliation. And during affiliation, 50 years, 60 years before, they give you, this is the committees you should have. So it is a statutory committee. Prevention for sexual harassment cell. You must have a curriculum development committee. You should have an examination committee. You should have an anti-ragging committee. These are all statutory committees because university has told. Not, you cannot say, sir, parliament did not tell us, sir. Your state government did not tell me, you cannot say. State government has told your university, you are affiliated to the university. So when you say, sir, I'm a self-financing college, sir. What is statutory? I'm a self-financing college, sir. I'm not a government college. It is statutory because the parent university is telling you. Similarly, IQAC NAC is telling you. So NAC is a non-statutory body. But UGC has told every college and university should have IQAC. Okay, UGC said NAC has told, and your university is telling. Your university, Bhardasan University would have sent a circular to all colleges to have IQAC. So very important to categorize whether it is statutory or non-statutory.
Sir, is there any difference between NAC coordinator and IKC coordinator, sir?
Colleges, some colleges are having some 300, 400 teachers, madam. Big colleges, top colleges are there. You know, typical small, agree to disagree. That is the word my friend used in one of his slides. Everywhere there are small, differences. Senior teachers, middle level teachers, hardworking, very junior teachers, aided teachers, self-financing teachers are there. So the management, in order to, make everybody happy, keeps one IQAC, pick one steering committee. In an ideal situation, in my personal opinion, only the IQAC should prepare the self-study report. What they say is to prepare the self-study report, they have a separate committee called steering committee, because the management and the principal wants to keep some 20, 30 teachers happy. IQAC also, they want to keep happy, so they give feedback and 1 or 2 metrics to them to prepare. So, but generally, in my opinion, all teaching staff should prepare criterion-wise committees, and departmental-wise committees will help. That committee, kindly unmute, but this committee, Sabha Selva, unmute, mute, please mute. Sabha Selva,
Mute yourself.
Dr. Sabha, please mute. Anyhow, he's not there. Okay, thank you, Dr. Sabha. Very important is all the committees put together should have prepare the self-study report. For preparing the self-study report and going for first cycle, second cycle, third cycle, fourth cycle, fifth cycle, don't keep steering committee. This committees can be throughout there. Very important throughout. Don't keep only IQAC throughout. Criterion-wise committees can be throughout. Why not? Good colleges have that. Yearly, twice, yearly, thrice, yearly, 4 times you can meet criterion-wise committees. Don't bring NAC into picture. Take the NAC manual into picture. NAC manual is important, quality. NAC manual is quality, very important. You will see quality improvement.
Sir, please explain 1.33 and 2.7. 2 questions we are asking, sir.
Autonomous college or
2.7.
Autonomous or university? Okay, go to the next question. By the time I help Professor Amio.
No more questions, sir.
1.33
and 2.7.
Okay. 1.33 and 2.7. I'll just check. By the time you can just utilize the time, or they can just raise it somewhere, because I'm just checking the question. Because they should have raised that question in an affiliated college, UG college, PG college. I think I think it is an affiliated college. I will use 1.33. If it is an autonomous college, the questions are different. University means questions are different. Or I do not know whether it is teacher education also, because I see audience are very mixed audience. 1.3.3. Percentage of students undertaking projects, field work, project work, internships. Data for the latest completed academic year. So, Ramyo?
Yeah, this is basically how many students have gone for field visits, projects, doing projects on the field. See, we want some kind of practical exposure of students. Apart from theory, some practical exposure. So how many students are going to the industries for field projects, or going for a field study for social sciences or for other subjects? That is our interest. So that way we calculate how many students are going. The denominator may be total number of students. So numerator and by denominator will get a value. That value will be mapped onto 43210. And if you get 3, multiply by that metric, multiply by that weightage, that is the score value. That is, so there's some kind of mixture of, this is a blended learning. You can say, when we say online, offline, blended learning, we say study at college plus study outside, or learn outside, going for a field visits, do some projects work in the industries, That way we ask this question. How many students are really going for a field visits or doing projects? That way we have asked this question.
Okay, next one, madam. What is the next one?
2.7
Next
student satisfaction survey.
2.7.
2.7.
Student satisfaction.
2.7.1 is student satisfaction survey, Amyo.
Yes, 2.7.1 is student satisfaction survey.
Yeah, have you explained? Can you? Sir, this is about, madam. First one, he talked about, please don't worry about the marks, whether you'll get full marks, 3,000 students are there, whether I have to send all the 3,000 students to internship, field work, study tour, educational tour. Good colleges do different styles. You can always enhance. Please don't do anything for the sake of DAC, DST, DBT, UGC to get high marks. Don't do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for your department. Do it for your children. Do it for your students. Very important. Nothing wrong in learning or copying from others, but you have to implement in your college. You cannot say last 5 years we are doing it, sir. Just take it from other college. Best practices can be borrowed, but you have to implement today and see the things are moving ahead, because we ask proof of evidence. We are putting 3,000 children in your internship for summer school. Nothing wrong. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. But for 3,000 children, we need from the industry. In one industry, you cannot get a letter of 3,000 children. It can be a small kind of a workshop. For different industries, banks, here, there, everywhere, harbor, everywhere, whatever the local, we need proof of evidence. How many days they have gone, how many, we need a report. We need proof of evidence. So don't go see, unless, sir, even if 10 students, if you send for field work, we'll get 4 marks, sir. Full marks, sir. Weightage we will get. Don't go by this metrics and benchmarks. Do it for yourself. Very important, the philosophy of NAC. Though we're trying to demystify, but grades are important, CGPA is important. But don't work for that alone. Very important. Now coming to 2.7.1, if we have 100 students in your college, 100 students, we need data. 2.7.1 student satisfaction survey. 100 students, mobile numbers, email ID. Preferably. Otherwise, 50, minimum 50 students we need. If you don't give only 49 students data, you will get 0 marks. So minimum 50, maximum is 100, because 100 children you have. Give 100, 3,000 means 3,000 children. Give that. Or 1,500, 50%. In that 50%, we will administer 30% computer generated questionnaire. That questionnaire is available on the website. Please go through the questionnaire. Don't tutor the children. Orient the children. Orient them. Translate it in Tamil. If you want mother tongue, vernacular language, administer them. Improve your college. Come back to us. Ask them to do it. If you don't get reply of 10%, 10 பேராவது reply பண்ணணும். Otherwise get 0 marks. So minimum 10% or 100 students. So I took an example, your college is having 100 people. If your college is having 3,000 people, minimum 300, minimum 10% is 300 or 100. Whichever is less, it will be, they should respond. Okay. It's a very important question, very important questionnaire. I urge that you all just go through the feedback, very important. People, there is a separate website on UNESCO Paris. If you go, they have a students valuation and assessment. Australian universities have a wonderful students data. Government of Australia has a data of students feedback. Government like NAC, there is a separate organization in Australia they have. And Monash University is one of the very good student feedback system they have. Within the country also, you may be having very good examples of student feedback.
Sir, for affiliated college syllabus are framed by university. In this case, what is the program outcome?
Sir, madam, normally the controller of examinations of the university is supposed to give, or the boards of studies and academic council of the university, for every program they should give an outcome. Every course outcome, paper outcome. BSc Computer Science, my friend told an example. Then for the program, then program specific outcome. If they have not given, please, you can develop own. There are different models available. Gets from autonomous colleges, good affiliated colleges, autonomous colleges, different universities. Develop your own course outcomes and program specific outcomes and program outcomes. Nothing wrong. Don't blame the university. University is not given. University is not given. Or Amyo, he's an authority on this OBE. Professor Amyo, my friend.
See, if the university has not given, it is better for you. You can develop. Every teacher can develop their course outcome for the subjects they are teaching. In the program outcomes, all the head of the HOD, head of the departments, by inviting a expert from outside, discuss, deliberate, and find out the program outcomes. The university is not given. I'll tell you, this is an advantage for you to develop your course outcome and program outcome.
Ma'am, before you could ask the question and propose vote of thanks, I'll take some more questions. Now NAC is in 83 webinars you have conducted. Other than that, we are participating in many webinars. But I must tell you, from yesterday onwards, we have started a series called all the A++ universities and colleges. We are asking some 6-7 best practices to be shared. Yesterday, the Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, a prestigious university A++, they were talking about the program-specific outcomes, how to do the curriculum with international universities. It was very interesting. I urge all the participants who are on YouTube, Twitter, as well as in Facebook, and people who are live in this Google Meet, please go through the website of NAC. Next programs, another 6-7 programs will be coming. Please register yourself. Please participate. Immediately don't ask whether NAC will give webinar certificates. Okay. Please participate. Please participate in NAC webinars. Sophia, Pochelvi?
Yes, sir. Sir, sir, few more questions are there, sir. Who should be called as external auditors for academic and administrative audit?
I will not say it's a simple question or a hard question. Every question is a question, because power of question I have put as a skills also. Madam, we can do academic audit. Only one part of the metrics we use a AAA, and NAC has detached very important circular we have put on the website of NAC, because people ask about academic and administrative audit. Many group of consultants are coming and telling, give us 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, we will do academic audit. Similarly for SSR also people are telling, but don't indulge in all those things. Simple. I'll give you an example. Being autonomous college, affiliated college, department wise you can do it. Botany department, IQAC coordinator of the college, as well as one chemistry person or English literature person go and do audit of the botany department of your college. That is one level. Level 1. Level 2, prepare. You must have the questionnaire, self-study report for the department. Okay, use your own questions or NAC questions. You frame. Then that is internal, level 1. Level 2, call the botany department of a neighboring college and one IQAC coordinator from other college. Only TADA honorarium is involved. Okay, do that, second level. Then consolidate all the departments, principal's office, curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular activities. Third level, invite one vice chancellor, one professor of a university, and one preferably IQAC coordinator of a different college, preferably neighboring or within the state, depending on the management and the budget. Third level, first level should be access to the second level should be access to the third level. Different models are available. Don't say Ponmudi Raj has said this, so we will patent it and we all will follow. No, you can follow your own AAA model. So third level, they will do the audit of the entire college. Normally, AAA is done once in 3 years or once in 2 years. Okay. Very important to do department wise. Then you do all departments, all activities put together. Then it becomes academic and administrative audit. There is a different level of audits. Program audit is different. Departmental audit is different. All different. I am talking about AAA. I am talking about AAA. Different models are available. Different models are available. Audit is one very good system. Normally we don't do grading. Some of the websites you will find many of the audit reports also. I find Calicut University, Pondicherry University, MCC University. Do Google search. Many universities are available. There are audit reports, internal audit reports they have put on their websites. Amyo, I would like to add, Professor Amyo.
Okay, it's okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay, sir. Sir, how to link data template to Word format? A simple question, it seems.
Data template into Word format, question itself is not clear. Data templates are templates given by NAC in the website of NAC for each college. If you're an affiliated, separate. UG separate, PG separate, autonomous separate, like that. You have to fill that and upload it to the web. Upload it there. If you want, you can have separate URL link for the scanned copies for each of your rows and columns. Depends on the question and matrix. Amyo, I could not understand that question.
See, I think he's asking data templates. Template has to be submitted in Excel files. So corresponding to the template, you need to submit the scanned copy of supporting document. Suppose how many PhDs produced in last 5 years? The question is like this. Suppose you produce 10 PhDs, all 10 certificates has to be scanned and uploaded in the corresponding places, right? That is the one. Excel file, don't change the format which we have submitted. The format which you have given, in that format you submit the documents and the supporting documents, because one part is very validation, the other part is verifications. Validate, then verify. Verify with the supporting documents. Right.
There one more question, sir. What happens if supporting document or photo is not available to upload?
No problem, madam. For example, one matrix. I'll take an autonomous college matrix. There are how many PhDs you have produced in the last 5 years. There is a data template. There is a question that table of 5 years. You have to fix 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18, 19. So 652 PhDs you have produced. You have to, for the proof of evidence, you have to scan the PhDs and put it in the appropriate place with the URL link on your website. No Google Drive. Only on an app website, or you have to put on your website or on a portal. In case if you have only 600 PhDs, 52 PhDs are not available to scan, you won't have the data, no problem, put 600, we will take only 600. Government goes by proof of evidence, madam.
Yes, yes.
Proof of evidence, simple. If you don't have, you will get what you have only. Only that data DVV will take.
So whether outcome is judged only by placements, sir. Outcome-based education, they are asking, I think.
Oh. No, many things
only by placements.
OB, Professor Amyo, OB.
But I think the complete that OB understanding is important. Attainment of course outcome. Suppose your target is 80% of students will get more than 90% of marks. That is your target. You set a target. Then after the completion of the course, when you taught the course after completion, whether you have achieved it or not, what is the attainment? If you have not attained, the next year, when you teach the same course, you will lower down your target. Or if you have achieved, you want to get the upper the target, right? That is the way we do it. That's not only placement. Placement is maybe one of the criteria, but the measure it is what is the course outcome attainment. When you talk about program outcome attainment, the placement may be one of the components. But course outcome attainment, that is what is your target, whether you are attaining the target or not. That is important. If you are not attaining, when you teach the same course in the next year, you have to lower down your target. That is a outcome-based education itself is a subject. I have just explained how to define course outcomes, how to define program outcomes, the importance of course outcome, the importance of program outcomes. The calculation part, how to calculate it, that itself is a different subjects altogether. It takes a lot of time to explain how to calculate. But the idea is attainment, one is target and attainment. Those two things are important.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, sir.
Thank
You
you,
have answered all the questions.
Before Professor Sophia, I would like to thank Professor Amyo Kumar Rath, my good friend, a senior professor and advisor NAC, his wonderful deliberation, hardcore engineer. And thank you, Dr. Anbu Selvi, the principal and the management of the college, and Sophia Selvi, controller of examinations of the college, and the IQAC people, organizers. I would like to thank Director NAC, Professor S.C. Sharma, for permitting both of us, myself and Professor Amyo Kumar Rath, to participate in this. And I wish all the colleges can organize a lot of webinars especially one of you can organize exclusively for OBE, outcome-based education. It is very useful. Don't keep only NAC target in mind. There are other things, especially a simple word for closing. Sorry, we exceeded more than 31 minutes, 41 minutes. They're supposed to close at 12:30. But ladies and gentlemen, Mentee colleges, I tell you, please prepare. I urge ADM college to help your Mentee colleges in every area and see to that they submit the self-study report and complete the DVV. Help them in DVV. Very important, UGC Paramarsh scheme. Help them so that our, it bears the fruit, the webinar bears the fruit, whatever we are for. Thank you, patient listeners, senior professors, and assistant professor, associate professors, supporting staff. All of them. Thank you on behalf of NAC. Over to Professor Purchelvi.
Sir, let me now invite our IQAC coordinator, Dr. N.K. Premavadi, to propose a vote of thanks.
Our most distinguished resource persons of the day, Dr. B.S. Ponmudi Raj, Advisor NAC, and Professor Amiya Kumar Rath, Advisor NAC Bangalore. Our beloved patron principal and ambassador of Paramarsh scheme of ADM College, Dr. R. Anbu Chelvi. Revered organizing secretary, controller of examinations, and UGC coordinator of ADMC, Dr. R. Sophia Purchelvi. Esteemed principals of Mentee colleges, Dr. Geeta Thiruvika College, Thiruvarur, Dr. Jenny Judge, TBML College, Porayar, Professor Swaminathan, Dharmapuram Adinam College, Dharmapuram, Mayiladurai, Dr. S. Mohan, SKSS College, Tirupannandal, Professor Rajashekhar, Vivekananda College, Tikali, IQAC and NAC coordinators of all colleges. Good afternoon to all. It is my great pleasure to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped us in making this national webinar such a resounding success. On behalf of UGC Paramarsh scheme, ADM College for Women, Nagapattinam, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the resource persons for their graceful lectures by sharing their views and opinions on the topic intellectual curiosity of learning and research teaching skills with us today. They insisted on active learning, interactive learning, outcome-based education, outcome-based assessment, teaching learning practices, program objectives and outcomes, focusing education on transferring knowledge, e-content development, paper presentation in reputed journals, and also in detail about teaching skills. Hope it is very useful to all the faculties. We are very grateful to you, sirs. I would like to express our profound gratitude to our management for their moral support and guidance. I am happy to express sincere thanks to my colleagues for their enormous cooperation. Our hearty thanks to our faculties of mentee institutions of the college under UGC Paramarsh scheme and faculty members of other institutions who have made this program national webinar a grand success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You are in mute.
Can we sign off? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Principal, thank you, each and every one of you. Can we log off?
Okay, sir.
Can we sign off?
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Professor, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ramyo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sophie, thank you, Sophie.
Thank you, miss. Thank you.
It was very useful.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Anbuchali, miss, thank you.
Hello, madam. Thank you very much, madam. I am Dr. Vedagiri from TBML College, Porayar.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Many congratulations, and we have acquired so many useful messages.
Okay.
So that it will be very much helpful in the year to come. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
sir.
for that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Madam, thank you, ma'am, for your organizing there.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all of you.
Hi. Hi, miss.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for attending.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Okay.
Hello.
Sophie, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, miss. Anita, Anbu, miss. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Madam,
Yes.
thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
நல்ல ஒரு informative session organized by you.
சரி சார் நாங்க எல்லாம் சேர்ந்து சார்.
உங்களுடைய கொஸ்டின் எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஆன்சர் பண்ணிருக்காரு சார்.
ஆமா சார் பார்த்தேன் கொஸ்டின் சார்.
ஆமா ரொம்ப நன்றி. ஃபுல் செஷன் அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணிருக்கோம் நாங்க.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே வெரி குட் சார்.
நன்றி இந்த டீம் எல்லாருக்கும்.
ஓகே சார். Yes, any message, miss? Anbuchali, miss.
Madam, thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, I am
Thank you.
Jayseelan. Thank you,
Thank
madam.
you, Jayseelan.
Hi, Sophie.
Thank you, miss.
Hi, Radhika.
Hi. Hi.
Bye, bye. Thank you
Bye.
all.